Okay, it looks like I'm already live. All right. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Guys, we're going to have Rex Sterling on today on the podcast. It's going to be another live episode, man. I'm excited to have him on. Fellow Jakertonian who got Wholesome rated with me as well. Hopefully, we're going to get him in here in just 1 second. I want to make sure everything's right because I think this might be the first or second time I've done it on OBS, so just bear with me, and we're gonna get them in. We just want to check one thing. Okay, John, Fall Guy, Theo, welcome everybody. We're gonna be taking some viewer questions later. He's already ready. He's good to go. This man was professional and on time, so let's give him the same respect. Guys, all his info's in the description. If you want to know more about him, if you want to see his channel himself, if you want to check out the type of content he does, please feel free to check him out and subscribe. With that being said, I'll let him introduce himself. I don't want to speak for him. Without any further delay, let's get him in, huh? Let's get the full screen action going here. I'm gonna do a little switcheroo, and there we are. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if he's connected his audio. I think so. Once he's good, I think we'll be able to hear him, and it'll start. Let's see. Let me make sure my audio is good on my side. Okay, so I got audio on my side. I don't think we hear you, though. Let me see. Let me make sure on my end it's not me. Let's try this. Let's try. Maybe. Okay. You want to try again? Oh, there we go. I gotta join the actual audio.
Hey,
there we go. I think there it is. It was my fault. I didn't even join the actual audio.
Man, I was getting paranoid. I was like, oh, what did I do? I messed everything up.
No. It's totally my fault. I did click the join audio button, but appreciate you being here, man. Sorry about that technical difficulty, but
no,
it's an honor to have you, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on here, man. I'm trying to see if I can switch. There we go. I'm switching the view in the Zoom app so that I can have both of us on my screen.
Nice. No problem. Take your time. This is gonna be the first time I've me and you meeting outside of just talking. So I'm excited to learn more about you and see how it's been for you, because I don't think so. On your YouTube profile it says 2020, but I don't think you've been doing content for that. Sure, is that incorrect?
No, I started YouTube in June 2020. June 16th was my first upload.
Oh, okay, and, 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I could have sworn there might have been maybe some previous iterations. So walk me through that. Like, let me let you introduce yourself. I didn't want to talk for you. I was talking to chat earlier. I'll let you do that first, and then we'll get into the start of the journey, if that's fair.
Oh, for sure. So my name is Rex Sterling, and I am a content creator. I make YouTube videos. I stream on YouTube. I also stream on Twitch, which is relatively, kind of newish for me. I originally started YouTube with two channels, a gaming channel and an ASMR channel. And I originally was just making YouTube videos, and this was around the time that The Last of Us Part 2 came out. I don't know if you remember that. Oh, yeah. What's the rules on language here?
Oh, you can let it rip, man. This is your podcast, so okay. However you want to express yourself, you can do that. You can let out a nice ass bomb, a nice shit bomb if you need to, all right?
Well, you remember the shit storm that was when The Last of Us Part 2 came out, right?
Yeah, in terms of controversy, yeah.
Yeah, so my first ever content upload was me reacting to the sex scene with Abby and Owen, I think it was, in that game. And I just kind of did it. I literally recorded it on my phone, and because I had just bought a computer to start making content with. I was still setting up a makeshift studio in a spare bedroom in my house, recorded it on my phone and uploaded it, and it got like 30,000 views.
Wow.
So that kind of jump started me a little bit on making videos. And then I started streaming in September of 2020. And when I saw that, you know, people could donate and the streams, the streams started doing a little bit better than the videos. So I started streaming more and more. I eventually cut out the ASMR channel because I realized how hard it was to juggle 2 channels, especially just starting.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of like rein in a little bit, like pull in so that I could I had to pull in my content into something that was more manageable. So I started mainly just streaming. And yeah, I went from there, and that's pretty much how I got my start doing YouTube. Before that, I was a professional wrestler. I did that from the time I was 18. I started when I was in high school. I got trained when I was 18 in Greenville, North Carolina, and I did that until I was about 30 years old. And in between being a pro wrestler and being a streamer, I had some like odd jobs. But I just never quite fit in. Like I never fit in like any kind of like 9-to-5 environment. Like I'm just a terrible worker. Like honestly, like when it comes to doing, when it comes to doing any kind of normal job, I'm just terrible, bro. I was like, I got to find something that's more me. And I've just always kind of been an entertainer. Like when I went to college, it was on a theater to be an actor. Like it was on a theater scholarship to be an actor. That's what I wanted to do. And I liked acting and I liked stunt work. And pro wrestling is both. So I was like, hey, there we are, so that's kind of like that's like a short little brief, summary of my journey so far.
That's awesome, man, dude. And oh man, I feel like the entire podcast could last of just us talking about pro wrestling, because there's just so much, such rich like culture. Yeah. I mean, the memes are endless, the storylines, right? Yeah. That's my favorite part. Not to go too far off tangent because it's more about you, but the storylines are what sold me as a kid, man. I'm telling you, when Undertaker got buried alive, I really thought he got buried alive. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, man, as a kid, I believed it.
What era of wrestling did you grow up with?
So I remember watching it vividly. I want to say, like, I think like everyone else around my age, Attitude Era.
Yeah.
When Rock was at his peak, Triple H, all those. But anything before that, my kind of dad kind of like talked to me about it. Like, I know around the time, like, what's the name of the Heartbreak Kid, man?
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels. So my dad kind of taught me more about that. I don't remember seeing much of him.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I know. But I definitely the Rock's era, the Attitude Era. Remember, I loved Booker T, like all that. You know what I mean? That was it's fuzzy memory for me. But man, like growing up with that, so it's really cool to hear that. Like meeting somebody that was getting into that, man. Like, was it? Now I know you said like it was like difficult for you to stick with it. Is that something you can talk about, or
with what?
In terms of like getting into the whole pro wrestling thing and what made you leave, or?
Oh yeah. I got no problem talking about that. So when I got into professional wrestling, I did have a very clearly like defined goal. I wanted to wrestle for Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Ring of Honor at the time, for anyone that doesn't know, because most people are probably familiar with like WWE, TNA back in the day, AEW now. Ring of Honor was like the #1 independent wrestling promotion in the United States. And arguably, as far as independent promotions go, it might have been a contender as like top 3 or 4 in the world. Like it was huge. And so like your guys that are on WrestleMania now, like, your Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, like Austin Aries, all these guys came from Ring of Honor. It was the #1 promotion in the United States for independent wrestling. And I just really liked it. I loved their product. It was like it was like a mix between like a Japanese pro wrestling product that's a lot more like grappling based and kind of ECW. They kind of had a little bit of if they had a baby, back in the day, that was old Ring of Honor. And so I wanted to wrestle there, and I did. I eventually I worked my way up professional wrestling in like the Mid-Atlantic area. So you're talking about like Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, South Carolina. I worked my way up through there, and when Ring of Honor came to Virginia for the first time. The first time Ring of Honor came to the Mid-Atlantic area for their first ever show, I got booked on it. And I wrestled for them a couple of times. And what made me stop was a combination of two things. The first was injuries. I had a lot of significant injuries in my career. In my first ever pro wrestling match, like my pro wrestling debut, I broke my left arm.
Oh, wow.
And it's funny. A short story about that's funny. That was the day of my high school prom. It was May 5th, 2004 was my first pro wrestling match. And that was the day of my high school prom. And so I wrestled. I went to training with my best friend in high school. His name was Nick. And me and Nick trained together. And we had our debut match against each other. And in that match, I did Benoit's diving headbutt. And it was on a really, really stiff ring, it was like a big, 18-foot ring. And it might have even been 20 foot. It was a very big, very stiff old school ring. Not a lot of padding, not a lot of give. And when I did it, when I came down, my left arm kind of hyperextended out when I landed, because I'm bracing for the ring that I trained in, which was a little bouncier, And when I hit, it was just thud. And instead of breaking out like this way, my arm twisted and the tendons didn't tear. The tendons held the bone, so the bone twisted and broke vertically towards my wrist. And so I had a couple of cracks in at the end of this arm. I can't remember what it's called, in the bone right here in your forearm, but it just broke at the elbow vertically down towards my wrist, maybe just a couple of inches. So I thought I sprained it. And so I had to drive my dad's Mitsubishi Mirage back to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, where I'm from. I think the show was in Greenville, North Carolina. So it's about a 45-minute, hour-long drive. It was a stick shift, so I couldn't just use one arm. So it was torture the whole way back.
That's awkward, yeah.
And I think Nick, he couldn't drive a stick shift. That's what it was. He had his license, but I was taught. My dad taught me how to drive on a stick shift, and he didn't know how, so I had to drive it back. And then I had to get into a tux, which was torture, and then go to prom with my girlfriend. And so, and then we went to prom, and then I'm trying to not complain, because it's prom and it's special for her, but I'm just like, fuck, my arm hurts, bro.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I remember I came home, I went to bed, and I woke up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, just in agony. And I went, and I think I woke up, it was either my dad or my grandmother. That's who I lived with at the time. And I was like, hey, can you take me to the hospital? And I went to the hospital, and I told the doctor what happened. And I was like, I think I might have broke my arm. And the doctor was like, well, look at it. And he was like an older man. He was kind of like, how older doctors don't really have good bedside manners. They're kind of assholes, honestly.
Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah,
he was. And so they did the x-ray on my arm, and he misread the x-ray and didn't, because I guess he was looking for a typical break somewhere, and he didn't see it. So he came back into the room, and no lie, the doctor told me, he was like, it's just a sprain. It's not broken like you thought it was. And if I can give you a little bit of advice too, because I used to wrestle myself. I don't know if he meant amateur, like sport,
right,
wrestling, or if he meant, I don't know what he meant, but he told me, he was like, if this was enough to make you come to the hospital, I think you should consider quitting, because I don't think it's for you. It's just a sprain. I was crushed, and I went home, and I crawled in bed, and I was just like, damn, I'm a bum,
Wow.
And then a couple of hours later, the hospital, one of the nurses from the hospital called my house, and my father picked up the phone, and they told my father that the doctor had misread the x-ray, and that my arm had actually broken vertically in more than one place. And that he had just misread the x-ray, and that it was actually broken. And I think my father told the nurse, well, if the doctor can't even read an x-ray, maybe he should quit being a doctor, because it's not for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was kind of funny. But yeah, so that was the story of my first match. But yeah, over my career, I had several concussions and broken bones, and things like that. And it was just really catching up to me as I got older. And when I got to Ring of Honor, and I did what I wanted to do. I saw what I would need to do to take the next step. Like if I wanted to go to WWE or TNA at the time, I saw how serious those guys were. Like I saw the amount of drugs, I saw like all the oxys, and I saw like there were guys that were taking morphine and wearing morphine patches to go out and wrestle.
Wow.
And I saw how crazy serious it was. And I was just like, yeah, that's not what I want. Like, I don't really want, like, WWE would be great, but I'm only 5'7". So even with like lifts on my boots, I would have been maybe 5'9". And this is back when they were way more conscious about height than maybe they are now. You know, there was no NXT or anything like that. I think you still had OVW. But everybody there, like Batista was just coming out. You know what I mean? Like everybody there was super jacked. You know, John Cena might have still been prototype or just started like debuting. So like, you know, they weren't talking to guys my height. And I had an interview with Terry Taylor, who was booking TNA at the time. And, you know, we had like a 45-minute phone conversation, and it was a really good phone conversation. But he was just like, hey, you know, you've only been wrestling 2 or 3 years, kid. You really need to get more experience before you come here. That's the only issue that I see. And I was like, okay. So when I got to Ring of Honor and I did what I wanted to do, like that drive to accomplish this goal kind of left me. Because I did it, and I was very happy with myself. I was happy with my career. I was happy with what I had accomplished, and the injuries were getting to the point where, still to this day, if I get above like 176 pounds working out and stuff like that, my knees begin to lock up. Like I don't know why. I know I tore tons of like meniscus in them, and I never got them scoped. So I'm sure I've got some things floating in both of them, but yeah, whenever I get above a certain amount of weight, my knees lock up. They lock up straight. I can't walk. You know, I can't drive. You know, it's just I got to a point where I was like, I can push farther if I want to, but if I do, I'm probably going to be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 50. And is that what I want? And it wasn't. So that's why in between wrestling and streaming, I was just kind of working because I was lost for a little while trying to figure out what I wanted to do next.
Yeah, it's tough. Wow, man. Like, yeah, I can't say I've ever had a broken bone, but there's gotta be like, could it have gotten like worse had like they never called you back? I imagine, like, because I don't know what will be the mechanics, but if they never like sent you back, I mean, God knows. Can't you like get a cut or something, or it heals wrong, or?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if talking about the doctor saying it was just a sprain, if they would have never called me back and told me that it was a break, I would have gone back to training that weekend.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, like,
and yeah, I probably would have significantly aggravated that injury.
Right,
you know.
Right.
And
lose an arm or something crazy like that. I mean, I'm not a medical expert, but I can't imagine it would have been any better. Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah, and that's why that's one thing about pro wrestling is like all the bumping and all the injuries and stuff. I really learned my body really well. Like I know, like when I have a specific type of pain, I know exactly what it is. If it's this muscle, this bone, whatever. If it's like a tendon or a ligament, like I can feel it. I can feel the difference in the types of pain. Like I remember I was in a match and I broke my foot in the middle of the match, and I remember it was a guy that was much bigger than me. He did a moonsault onto me onto the floor. And he was fucking huge. I don't know why. I don't know why I agreed to it. I don't know why I agreed to it. But I was like 180 pounds. He was like 220. And he did this moonsault on me. I caught him. My foot broke. I turned it around while we were on the outside, put some heat on him. I rolled inside the ring, and I just kind of reached down and felt my foot a little bit. And I looked at the ref and I said, my foot's fucking broken. So I finished the match. I went to the hospital with the girl that I was dating at the time. Went to the hospital after the show, and I felt okay. I wasn't in like a great deal of pain. I just knew my foot was broken. You got the adrenaline flowing and stuff. So I didn't really feel any pain. I was just like, I think I just broke my foot. So I went to the hospital afterwards, and I went in there and I was like, I'm pretty sure I broke my foot. And the doctor's like, well, you walked in, so I'm pretty sure you didn't break it. But I was like, here we go again. But they did
what is
the
up with these doctors and nurses and stuff, man?
He was cool about it, like they did the X-ray and then hey sweetie, they did the X-ray and then this is my roommate. Yeah, this is my roommate's dog. This is Tilly, and when she when she hasn't seen me for a while, she's got to come in here and get some love. She doesn't care that I'm streaming. It's her show.
No. You're on their time.
But yeah, so, you know, they did the x-ray and he came in. He was like, you did break your foot. I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, you know, if you're not in touch with your body, if you don't like understand your body, things like that, like I've seen wrestlers aggravate injuries. Like I saw one guy break his leg and he came back and he re-broke it in a match. And I was just like, you know, on just a simple move. Yeah. Cause you know, when you're not able to train, you're not able to work out, you know, you start to lose muscle mass. It's just a lot. It's a lot for sure.
What, if I may ask, like, how did you, so I imagine it was, you know, I haven't been like severely injured. I remember I pulled a muscle on my leg once and I was pretty down about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so how do you feel like you were able to cope with it, or at least like, did you find an outlet to help you kind of, you know, get through that?
I think with pro wrestling, injuries are like,
Part of the job.
Yeah. It's like battle scars. It's like something, it's such a part of the culture that, you know, you just get used to it. Like, I still remember the first day. I still remember the first day after I stopped wrestling that I woke up and I wasn't hurting. And it actually brought tears to my eyes because I hadn't been painless in so long, in years.
Wow.
And, you know, it's like in my entire 20s, up until that day, I was probably like in my late 20s. I had never experienced a pain-free day ever. And I woke up one day and I was getting out of bed and I just didn't hurt. And I just started crying. I couldn't believe it. Like I hadn't felt pain-free in so long. So you just get used to it. You get used to injuries and your body does adjust. Like your body does toughen up. So you just get used to it. It's part of the culture there. So, you know, I guess the outlet is the locker room and the boys and, you know, talking, you know, sharing injury stories and stuff like that. Still going to shows when you're hurt so you can be there and be around the boys. Like, you know, that's a big part of the culture there.
Wow. Yeah. Cause I feel like from the outside looking in, you know, especially as like, let's be honest, let's just get this out of the way. Especially as like MMA was coming up, people were starting to really underappreciate the amount of work it really does take to perform on that stage. And now I'm starting to notice almost a shift to where like saying that stuff and saying like, well, it's not real, it's all a joke, is like almost like a dead meme now. Because I'll be on Twitter and people will like watch like some stunts that some wrestlers do, some moves that some wrestlers do, and people are actually now impressed. So now people be like, wow, he can move, you know, he can do this. Prime example that I can think of off the top of my head, I think he's fighting right now actually as we're talking, Logan Paul. You know?
Oh, really?
People were thoroughly impressed with the way he moves in the wrestling scene.
Yeah, so yeah. I was too. Too.
Yeah, you were, so you saw some of the clips. This guy's like doing flips that, you know, impressed everybody for a guy of his size. So I love that it seems like the culture now is like a little more accepting, a little more like understanding of like, hey, look, behind the scenes, this is not just, you know, like they're just tango dancing. Like people are actually getting hurt. People are like they're actually landing on each other. Like you don't get that, you know. So
yeah, I remember there was a guy filming a wrestling documentary at a show that I was at, and after my match, he wanted to interview me, and he asked me like, "How do you deal with people who say wrestling is fake?" And I've always thought that was such a brain dead take.
Yeah.
Because when you know, when an actor is doing a movie, people don't like if Leonardo DiCaprio is accepting an Oscar, nobody says, oh, that movie was fake. You know, in The Revenant, he wasn't even really fighting a bear, bro. Did you know that? It's like, yeah, because it's a fucking movie, dumbass. Like, of course he wasn't really fighting a bear. How do you watch two grown men punch each other in the face like 50 fucking times? Nobody's got a black eye, and you never once thought, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, how brain dead is that take? Like, I don't like it when people say it's fake. I think that's like such an over dismissive simplification of what we do. Exactly. And that's why we don't like it. Like, I think the thing is, I know what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is that it's scripted and that we're not really fighting. Well, of course, bozo. Like, you dumbass. Like, that's like trying to, like I said, it's like trying to explain to somebody that a movie is like, it's just people acting.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So it's like, it's just, it's the way people say it that bothers us so much, because the way they say it, calling it fake, is just like saying that we're not paying any real price for what we do. It's dismissive of the pain. It's dismissive of the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into what we do. And I'm glad now that that is starting to die off. And, and people are a little bit smarter to the business now. I just don't understand. I will never understand. Like we didn't have the internet back in the 90s, but come on, bro. Like, all you have to do, it's on TV, just watch. Like, like, of course it's not real fighting, but it's like, I don't know. And then the comparisons between UFC and WWE, like, of course, like, you know, especially when UFC was getting more and more mainstream, you know, that started up. But I love how it's come full circle now, and people are appreciating both. And now they've haven't they recently linked up together?
Yes, they have.
They're
like,
doing
it should have been happened,
now, right?
And I'm so happy that it is, because it's like, that's the one, and I love MMA, dude. You know what I mean?
Same.
I'm borderline obsessed. But let's be honest, like, sometimes they lack that storyline that wrestling had. They like, there's an untapped like thing. Now, obviously there's storylines and, like, you know, the documentaries and the interviews, post-fight, pre-fight, press conferences, all that. I get that. But just the way, like, it almost felt like an anime sometimes watching these shows, that I feel like with the merging it too, it would be great if they can just, like, kind of bounce off each other. I don't see what's the problem with that. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't love to see, I don't know, such and such from MMA get into a ring and beat each other with chairs? That sounds hilarious. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the potential crossover has been there for so long, and to see them finally start to capitalize on it is great.
Yeah. I think if they can really work on, like, selling it, man, I'm telling you, there's, like you said, untapped potential. So by any chance, were you making content or streaming, like, while you were doing this endeavor?
While I was wrestling? No, I never.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did that start for you? Like, was it like a little later after? Was it always a thought on your mind? Did you kind of stumble on it, or?
So I think all right. So my professional wrestling career ends. Well, it's not like done. I still got one more match in me, but I'm saving it for something special.
Okay.
But, like, as far as, like, me actively pushing for, like, whatever, I think, like, my last real competitive match was like 2013, 2014, something like that. I may have had one in 2015. But that ends, and I don't know what to do with myself. So I'm going out and working jobs. So I worked at a call center doing pharmacy help desk for a while. I got a job as a habilitation technician, working with children with autism, teenagers with autism. Like, I would pick them up from their homes and take them out in public and teach them how to, like, properly, like, socially interact with people, things like that. So I was doing that, and that was rewarding. I enjoyed it. But, you know, the type of personality I have, I'm an entertainer. I wasn't entertaining anybody. So it was like this unhappiness, like this like unsatisfaction that I was dealing with. And so I think that, especially as, like, a creator, the types of content that you consume the most tend to be the types of content you also want to make, right? Like, I watched pro wrestling my whole childhood. I wanted to be a pro wrestler, right? So I developed a really severe panic disorder in 2011 off of, I had an extremely high dose of shrooms, and I didn't realize it. And I had, like, an 8-hour bad trip. Whew. And I had never had panic attacks or anything before, but after that, I started having panic attacks almost daily. Right.
Wow.
And so fast forward to 2015, that was like a real low point for me. You know, at that point, you know, my dad had remarried and moved out, and we barely had any relationship. My grandmother had passed away. The girl that I was living with at the time, we had broke up the year before, and she had moved out. So I'm in this house that I grew up in, and it's just me. And I'm working a job, and I'm paying the bills for the first time ever in my life, like, as far as everything by myself.
Yeah.
And I was on medication to control my panic attacks, and I was running out of that medication. I was down to, like, maybe 3 or 4 pills, and I couldn't afford to go see a doctor. So I was working 2 jobs. I was waiting tables and still doing the call center. I was doing both. And so I was going to work every day, and I think I had wrecked my car. Like, story is almost intentionally like gloomy, but I had gotten into a car accident. I was walking to work. I was having panic attacks every day while I was at work, and still like having to work. Like I couldn't just leave no matter how bad it got. I could go to the bathroom and like wash my face off and like maybe have 10-minute little episode in there, and then I had to get back out on the floor. But it was just so bad. And I was having trouble sleeping because of the anxiety and the panic attacks and all this other stuff and the stress. So I would listen to videos on YouTube of rain, like thunderstorms, to help you sleep at night.
Wow. And same. We do that. I do that sometimes.
Yeah. And one night, you know, I'm just like, I'm going through videos on YouTube and I'm looking for black screen videos, because what I would do is I was sleeping on the floor in my living room.
Wow.
And I would play the videos on my TV. And obviously I don't want this bright light on me while I'm trying to sleep. So I would look for black screen rain videos. Well, the more you start going into like this like subgenre of a subgenre, the more you start to find different types of content. I stumbled on a video that I was playing one night, put my phone on the charger. I went and laid on the floor, and I was going to sleep, and you know, it's black screen, it's rain, and then somebody, like this girl, starts whispering in the background, and I was like, what is this? And at first I was so annoyed, but then, like, you know, somebody kind of talking in the room, I kind of found it comforting, and I fell asleep. And so a couple of nights later, I was like, man, you know, like, can I find that video again? And I end up finding it, and I see the initials ASMR on the video title, and I didn't know what it was. I was like, what is ASMR? I just ignored it because I didn't know what it was. And then later I saw that other videos had ASMR in the title, and it was people like tapping on stuff and all this. And I was like, this is so weird. Like, this is like bringing the body pillow to the anime convention weird right now for me, you know? But it helped me sleep. So every single night I was going to sleep to ASMR videos. So it became the same thing. I was like, I think I could make this type of content for other people that struggle with, like, you know, panic disorder and anxiety. And I think that'd be great. So that was one thing that made me want to do YouTube channels. And then I was also, every day I had gotten into watching like Yang Yeah and the Gymquisition, Skill Up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Angry Joe. Like, I'm watching all this, you know, I'm watching all these creators. And of course, you know, I mean, I was born in '85, and the same month that I was born, the NES debuted in the, you know, United States. And so one of the first things that my dad introduced me to was Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, you know? So I was, you know, gaming had been a part of my life forever. Pro wrestling had been a part of my life forever, but I was moving on from that. And I had found this ASMR thing. And so I was like, maybe I could do YouTube. That's kind of where the idea started to come to me, was in like 2015, 2016. And then in 2020, when the pandemic hit, you know, I was working at GameStop. That was my last ever like job that I had, was at GameStop. The pandemic hit, GameStop sent me home. They gave me some money and said, we don't have hours for you, stay home. And then we got our checks from the government. All of a sudden I went from having no money, being broke as fuck, to having about $8,000. And I was like, well, if I don't do something with this money, in 6 to 10 months, I'm just going to be broke again. So I used that money to start building that that small studio in what used to be my grandmother's bedroom at my house. So I bought a computer, bought monitors, and just equipment, lighting, and just, you know, set up. And that's how I started YouTube.
Wow. Look at that. What do you know what ASMR stands for, by the way? Off memory?
No, I can't remember. I
know there's like it's an acronym for something. I'm kind of like tempted to actually look it up again, because I'm kind of curious, how did this genre even start? Yeah, let me see something real quick. Okay, I think I got it here. It says it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. It's a term used to describe a tingling sensation that some people experience. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
often
this. it's like the same feeling if you've ever been at like a barber and been getting your hair cut or anything like that, and it starts to relax you to put you to sleep. It's kind of the same type of feeling.
Yeah, yeah. To help with sleep is the main thing that pop up here. Tapping sounds, visual stimuli, whispers, gentle movements. So you get into the ASMR. You start doing that for other people, kind of like thinking about yourself and how, you know, how you could do it. How's that go for, and how you end up like going from that to streaming? I'm curious.
Well, you know, like I said, I started both channels at the same time because I was like, I want to do gaming and I want to do ASMR. So I started 2 different channels, and I started them at the same time, and I was making both content at the same time. But the gaming just started doing better and better and better and better. Not that the ASMR was bad, but I didn't understand it the way that I understood gaming. So it was just easier for me to grow and get views and build a community gaming. And then the more I invested into that, the less I was able to invest in the ASMR. And so I just decided to commit to one type of content.
Okay. So eventually leaving the whole ASMR thing. How long did you do that for?
I think I probably did ASMR for like maybe like 5 months.
Okay.
You know, I think I did like a total of like maybe 8 or 9 videos, like somewhere between 6 and 10 videos is the total amount that I did. Maybe a little bit more now that I think about it, but I didn't do it very long. I still have the videos. I still have the videos like saved on my computer because I still have the computer that I have now is a newer one. But so right now I live in Georgia in a studio that I built and moved into after I sold my house in North Carolina. But I still have family in North Carolina. My mother still lives in North Carolina, and I have my old computer there, and I still have like all my old videos on that and stuff like that. And so I still have the ASMR. Sometimes I think about doing it again. You know, just because I still go to sleep every night to ASMR still to this day. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, you know, like I know I could make that type of content, but I'm just grinding. I'm grinding Rex Sterling Live so hard right now. And I'm also trying to build a community on Twitch, which is really hard. You know, switching platforms as a streamer is a nightmare. Even when you're bigger, it's stressful. But when you're smaller, you know, I mean,
yeah.
You know, going from having like 1,000 people there regularly to like 400, yeah, that sucks. But going from like 35 to 2,
yeah,
that's brutal.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I'm just grinding so hard. I don't feel like I can go back to it right now. But you know, it's something that I'm, you know, maybe in the future.
Okay. So walk me through that. Like, here you are now. How's it been? How's it been treating you? When did you switch to Twitch? And why would you do that? Actually, that fascinates me because you're going from 35 to 2. I mean, did you anticipate that? Let's start with that.
Well, I've had a lot of ups and downs. So what got me partnered with YouTube is I went viral on a live stream covering Abandoned a couple of years ago. That was a game that was supposed to come out that people thought was, you know, a secret Silent Hill game. Or
kind of like BT or something.
Yeah, or even like a secret Metal Gear reveal that Kojima was masterminding, and it just ended up being some company that was like ripping people off, that was just trying to scam people. But you know, Abandoned was this game that was coming out that I was covering because I'm a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid and Silent Hill and Kojima, so I'm like, hell yes, I'm covering this.
We are the same. I can't pull it out right now, but I have the entire collection back there. So
really? Hell yeah, brother.
We can talk Metal Gear if you like.
Oh yeah, I love Metal Gear. We got that master collection coming soon, man.
Yeah. I noticed the Diamond Dogs back there, so it was noted. I saw it. Yeah.
So I went live, and it was like I was live, MBG was live, a couple of other like notable YouTube streamers that cover gaming news were live. I think Michael Does Life was live. There's one other guy, but I can't remember his name. We were all live covering it, and then it's on a Tuesday. The game is going to release. We're covering it. And then they say the developer comes out and says, oh, there's a problem. You know, we need to patch it. We need to drop a patch before we can release this game. We're sorry. You know, it was supposed to be like a demo with a trailer, like the big reveal. And we're like, it's got to be Kojima, right?
Yeah.
And so they delay it. They're like, we'll have it out as soon as we can. Well, you know, everybody ended their streams but me. I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to stay live until they drop the patch. Because I was like, this is my only chance to like try and like, you know, stand out a little bit. So I did that. Yeah. It went on for 3 days. I stayed live the entire 3 days. And I went from having like, you know, 10, 20 people in my chat to having 5,000 when it was over.
Holy.
And so that That's how I got partnered with YouTube. I mean, my watch time and my Criterion subs jumped up and all this and that. I think I had 700 subs when it started, and I had 3,000 when it was over. When that stream was over, yeah.
Okay.
So for a while, I was streaming to every stream. I was streaming to, on a bad day, 60 people, on a good day, 150. Every stream.
Wow.
And I was doing that on YouTube for a while, and then I started having problems with my ISP. My ISP started throttling me really, really bad. And I also didn't know this, but I had installed malware bytes on my computer to protect my computer, not knowing that my malware bytes will actively interfere with OBS. So if you're a streamer, if you install malware bytes on your computer, you will notice that your streams constantly start dipping down into like 100 bit rate, 200 bit rate, 500 bit rate, down from like 6,000 or 10,000 or whatever. And it knocked me out of streaming. I couldn't figure out what was going on, but between my ISP throttling me and malware bytes interfering with OBS, and I didn't know that was happening, I wasn't able to stream for like 6 months straight. And so I came back to 20 viewers, and I was like, fuck. So we start building again. And I started building again on YouTube, but I think what made me start streaming on Twitch was the type of content that I wanted to make as videos on YouTube was not matching the type of content I was making when I was live. When I was live, I was doing all this like crazy shit, I was doing like Drunk Souls, where, you have to take a shot every time you die in Dark Souls or something. And I'm not a Souls player. I fucking hate those games. But I know they're special, and I just don't get it. So like one event that I want to do in my community is completing my first Souls game. And, I just want to build up my community a little bit before I do it, because I think it's going to be really special when I finally do it, because I fucking don't like those games.
Dude, you know what? That's the one thing me and you actually agree on. And it's been a point of contention with me and my friends for so long.
Yeah.
Because it's like because you're probably on the same page as me. I can appreciate it, but it's just not my type of game.
Yeah.
It's just not my go-to. So it's like, when I'm seeing people like so obsessed with it, I'm just like, man, I wish I could get it, I wish I could get it, but
I feel
like,
left out.
having to read like my flask to understand the lore is just not appealing to me.
That's what it is. I don't like the way they distribute lore, and the environmental storytelling doesn't work for me.
No.
It's like the game is so hard. And of course people will say get good, or it's not really hard. Shut the fuck up. It's like literally a pillar of the entire genre. Shut the fuck up. They're hard games. That's why we like them, is overcoming the difficulty, right?
Yeah.
But the pure adrenaline of beating a boss in Dark Souls or something like that doesn't do it for me. I'm like an actor, right? That's what I went to college for. What's my motivation, right?
Yeah.
Look at my chat. You just suck at it, daddy. Get good. Fuck you.
See, it's so easy to say, but listen, I'll back him on this one. I get it. It just, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then the thing is that like, the closest I got to getting it was when Bloodborne came out. When I played Bloodborne, I was like, okay, there's something here. I get it. Because that environment and like the way they kind of did do the lore on there really got me. But then it's like, I don't get the Souls game. It just feels like, I don't know.
I just don't know what's going on. It's like you have to dangle the carrot in front of me as a gamer. You have to give me like that reason why I'm pushing forward. And for me, it's like I'm into characters, and I'm into storytelling, and I'm into narrative, because I came up mostly on JRPGs. So for me, that's what I'm looking for, and you don't get any of it. You're this character. Even if you make the character, I still have no attachment to this character. I'm dropped into this world where I'm dying in 2 hits. They give you this long health bar just for you to lose it all in 2 hits. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then I'm supposed to figure it out. And it's just, I never feel that motivation to keep pushing forward. But I'm going to. I'm going to complete a Souls game. I'm going to finish one. I'm going to let my YouTube community vote on which one it is.
Okay.
And so, I don't know if it'll be Bloodborne. I don't know if it'll be Elden Ring. I'll let them fucking choose. They had me playing Sekiro on stream about a month ago. And I don't know why, because I'd never played it before. And I'd always heard, oh, that's the hardest one, but I was I won't say I was really good at it, but I was good at it. Like I was
Right,
good at it.
right,
I was enjoying it. I liked the fast paced offensive combat of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like the more my community has pushed me to play these games, the more I've kind of opened up to it. It's like I understand now how the storytelling works in these games. So I feel like I can't keep complaining about it. Because it's like, you know, you're going into it knowing what the fuck it is. So how are you going to keep bitching about the storytelling 5 years later? Okay, fine. I understand that we're doing this weird environmental shit and I got to find items and read the shit in the menus. All right, cool. I didn't like it in Destiny. I don't like it here, but whatever. At least we had cutscenes in Destiny.
Right.
Here I am, you know, here I am. So that's going to be like a big goal for me. But going to Twitch, one, I liked the idea of being on multiple platforms in case I catch a bullshit band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two, you know, I'm putting a lot more emphasis on my YouTube videos, and I've seen like I've been reaping some rewards from that. Growth has been constant, slow but constant. I'm getting better at making videos. I understand, you know, I'm partner now, so there's passive income that I can make from ad revenue.
Yeah.
You know, I understand how important it is for me to make YouTube videos to grow and to bring people to my streams. And so I've tried to put more emphasis on that. And so it's kind of weird when I'm making these YouTube videos, like a lot of my videos are react content or similar to what Charlie does, Moist Critical, where, you know, I'll make a straight video just talking about something. And I understand now why he does his videos the way he does, because it's the same reason why I have to, because I don't have an editor and I don't have like a team. So I have to record the video myself. I have to edit the video myself. Then I have to upload the video myself, do all the SEO by myself. And then if I'm going live, I got to do that by myself. And then I got to get the clips by myself. Like when it's all you, it's like, I've got to cut corners somewhere. And so my editing has gotten a lot better in terms of knowing what to keep and what to cut out. But I just can't afford to put 2 hours into a 1 minute video clip. Like I just can't to make it like boom, 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 boom. You know, that Mr. Beast editing, you know, with all the sound effects and all the cuts. I just can't, I just don't have time to do that right now. As rewarding as it probably would be. Like I know if I had like a really good concept and maybe I did hire an editor and maybe I put like $400 or $500 into just producing one very solid 10 to 15 minute video, you know, there's something there for sure. But right now I'm just grinding the way that I'm grinding, and I'll get to that when I feel comfortable getting there. But it is kind of weird when I'm making videos where I'm talking about game news and I'm doing reacts to, like, I do a lot of reacts similar to Asmongold. So I react a lot to, you know, dating culture, dating apps, AI, and where that's going. Those are things that I'm interested in. So it's weird when I have these like thought-provoking conversation pieces when I'm live. Or I film them off stream and then I upload them to YouTube, and then a viewer sees that and it's like, oh, I want to be a part of these conversations. And then they come into my stream and I'm in like a bikini with makeup on, getting drunk, just partying with my chat. The money was good, the views were good, but there's like this weird like split personality thing going on. And I just felt like, you know, I need to, and plus YouTube kept demonetizing me constantly because I would get too crazy. You know, I would get a little bit too crazy, you know what I'm saying? And things were happening that can't happen on YouTube. And, you know, so I would get demonetized at, you know, like for instance, one thing that really broke it for me was I played Cyberpunk recently on stream, and, you know, there's nudity in Cyberpunk, but I thought, you know, because there's not a focus on nudity in Cyberpunk, I thought that it would be within TOS. Because it's there, but it's not a focus of the game.
Yeah.
For instance, in Baldur's Gate, when I took somebody's armor off and was switching their armor, if there were titties, it's Baldur's Gate, baby. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
I didn't get hit with limited ads for 2 weeks after those streams. Everything was fine. But I played Cyberpunk. There was nudity in the game, and YouTube didn't like that. So how does YouTube handle it? Well, they didn't hit me with a strike. They didn't. Please stop telling me to stop crying about Souls-like, guys. I get it.
They're still on that.
Stop crying. That's what.
Yo, as we were talking, in the back of my mind, I was like, we're gonna trigger the community, and that's it. Yeah. We might as well leave after that. If we trigger the Souls community, we might as well hide under a rock.
No, fuck it. Bring the heat, baby. I'm here.
That's
for
what
it.
I'm saying. Like, bro, I'm sorry, man, but that overrated kind of ass game, man. I'm sorry. Like, Can we be real for a second? Y'all just like it's because it's hard. Okay, I get it. But like, ain't nobody talking about a Dark Souls story 5 years later. You know what people are still talking about? Metal Gear. Let's be real.
It's the dick measuring. It's the dick
really
measuring.
Is.
It's, oh, I did a no-hit run. Well, good for you in that fucking game that nobody cares about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, get over it, man. Everybody plays it when it comes out, and then that's it. We move on. Everybody goes back to playing Counter-Strike. Everybody goes back to playing League. Real games that actually require competitive mindsets.
Bro, I have got to see. How is your chat? Like, I know the meltdowns in chat are gonna be.
Oh
wild.
No, they're hanging out. We chill over here. They know what it is. But Twitch. Look, okay. To be fair, like I said, I get it, and I understand that Dark Souls on Twitch is like a thing. I get it. But bruh, move on. There's other games. Spider-Man comes out. Nobody cares about Dark Souls. Nobody cares. Everybody wants to play Spider-Man.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When that Elden Ring DLC drops, I might.
You might do it.
I might try, man. Like maybe we'll see. Okay. We'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna let my community vote on the Souls game that I have to beat. I'm gonna let them vote on it. But as a creator, as a content creator, right? We know that trending is like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking to myself, what is it, like Shadow of the Erd Tree or something like that? When that DLC drops for Elden Ring, I'm like, that would be a really good time to do it. Like that would be that, you know, the game's gonna be popping. You know, it's my first run of a Souls game ever. Like, you know, you're kind of lining up some, you know, like that would be the shit to do to get, you know, that would be smart from a creator standpoint. That would be smart.
Yeah.
So maybe then we'll see. But I just hope that at the end of it, I can say I get it. I
100%. I can respect that. I get it, and
I'm a part of your community now. I understand now.
Yeah, I'm not dissing the game. It's just, to me personally, like, I don't know. I see it. I kind of want to go to sleep. Like, I would put it on. I would put on some gameplay to go to sleep.
Yeah. Roll.
I said what I said.
Slow swing. Roll. Slow swing. Strafe. Strafe. Yeah. Parry. Roll. Slow swing. All right, man. Looks fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anyway, but Armored Core 6 looked really good though. Like, just so we're clear, that looked good.
The only reason why I didn't like play it, well, it was because I don't have the time, but I didn't stream it because I feel like it's not a good stream to watch. I feel like it's a little too bland, unless you know like what's going on. I feel like for like a newer audience, they may not like it as much. You know,
that's one of my biggest. I think that's one of the biggest. Now that we've just dropped these bombs in chat, we're just walking away. That was one of my biggest like incentives to grow as a streamer, is because there's games that I want to play that I know will bomb. There's games that I want to play and I know if I stream them now, they will bomb. I will be streaming them to nobody. If I can grow and I can build my community enough to where, you know, I can take a hit, but I'm still good. That's where I want to get. I want to get to the point where I can just play whatever fucking game I want to play and not worry. Like that's that's really the dream. It's like a gaming streamer.
Yeah. It takes and you're doing the right thing by getting on that content grind. How's that been treating you? Have you been enjoying that?
It's been good, man. I just you know, not to get too much like into like numbers, because the numbers game will, you know, it'll lead you in the wrong direction. Yeah, it'll drive you crazy. But it's been good, man. Like I went from like, okay, I started really grinding my YouTube videos and putting more work into my editing and stuff. And you would never know it as a viewer if you just started watching my videos now. Like you would. But I'll give you an example. I had a video privated that I hadn't released yet, and it had been sitting, you know, for like a couple of weeks, right? And it was one of those videos where it's not a time sensitive video. I had done a react to some content that wasn't time sensitive. So I was like, I can drop this react if, you know, if I'm in a lull, if there's like 2 or 3 days of no videos, I've got this to just drop because it's not time sensitive. It's not about a trending topic.
Yeah.
I decided I was going to go ahead and drop that soon. So I think it was yesterday I sat down. It was a 20-minute video. I'd already edited it, posted it. You know, it's private. It hasn't been released. I watched it. And I was like, this fucking video sucks. I
feel that, man.
I imported it into Adobe. I start editing. When I was done with it, it was like 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Now it's back up on YouTube and ready to go. And I was just like, and that video was only maybe 3 weeks old. So I was like, yeah, like I can see the growth. I can literally see, like, I thought this was okay 3 weeks ago and it's trash. There was way too much like just nonsense that wasn't like relevant. It wasn't keeping the pace. Like I was reacting to something and the pace was good. And then I would go off on a little tangent over here and then come back. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why'd you keep that? So it's been good for like the growth as a creator. I can see myself getting better at it. And the views have been better. Like I would say for me, you know, and this is just me, I'm not comparing with anybody else, but for me, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I would put out a video, maybe, you know, 300 or 400 views was really good for me. And, you know, now, you know, I would say that is, you know, at the very least, my low average, you know, and I got really, really lucky. And I caught news of like that possible Titanfall 3 reveal leak a couple of days ago on Twitter. And it ended up being fake, but nobody knew it at the time. And I covered it and got a video out within 2 hours of that coming out on Twitter. And that did 15,000 views, which for me is really, really, really high. And so, you know, stuff like that feels good. It's like I caught it. Like I caught something while it was still hot, made the video and got it out, and it was decent. It was short to the point, like, and so I can feel myself getting better. And so that's another reason why, you know, I'm trying to stream a little bit more on Twitch, at least when it comes to React content. That's another thing. I don't want to do my reacts on YouTube, then go back later and edit the VOD, right? That people can still see. People can still see the whole 30-minute ramble, like points where I'm lost in the React, points where I'm not doing good, where I am doing good. Of course, I know the viewer doesn't grade it the way that we grade our own content. Like we're like super like meticulous, but I don't like the idea of the VOD being there where somebody can see the unedited React right next to my curated React that I release as a video. Because I feel like that's just like, that's baiting trolls to go, oh, it's funny how you left this out. It's like, why would I do that to myself? I should do the reacts on Twitch. You know, then that's its own content for its own platform and audience. And then I take that and I curate it for another platform, another audience, another type of content. I feel like that's more acceptable because you have that division there. But it's weird when it's weird to have it double, like the unedited and the edited on the same platform, on the same channel. To me, that feels weird. And then also, you know, there's certain games that I feel like I can't play on YouTube because they'll randomly demonetize me. And that was the story that I was trying to tell you. I'm sorry before I got sidetracked, but I played a game and YouTube didn't like it. So the way they responded was they hit me with limited ads and demonetization for like a solid 7 to 10 days afterwards. And when you're covering trending topics, something goes viral and you want to put out a video on it. Now I've got to hold the video and ask for a manual review on every single video for that entire 7 to 10 days. And YouTube, like, they're assholes, bro, because I know it does not take 7 days for and it's not even a manual review. We know it's a bot that does it too. It does not take, because sometimes they'll approve it like within 5 minutes on a 20-minute video. They'll approve it. They were holding it the whole 7 days of the review period. So I can't release my video for the whole 7 days. I'm going to sit on it, and then it's breaking news going out late. And I was just like, I can't fuck around with my channel like this because it's hurting me in the algorithm. The reason why my videos are doing better now is not because they're drastically better than they were a month or two ago. It's because I've been consistently uploading, and I have been doing better with like my thumbnails, and I have been doing better and experimenting more with my editing and stuff like that. But it's the consistency on YouTube. When you're consistently uploading YouTube videos and you're hitting that same audience and they're watching and your watch time is decent enough, YouTube's like, okay, we'll give you a little bit more of a chance. We'll throw you out here. We'll recommend you a little bit more. And when they see you consistently uploading, they reward you with more recommendations, especially if you're growing a little bit. So, and I have been, and I've been doing good. And when I get hit with limited monetization because of something that happened on a live stream, it derails everything for like a solid 10 days. And then I feel like I've got to rebuild that, you know, that streak that I'm on. And it's I just got tired of feeling like YouTube was resetting me because I, you know, said fuck within the first 7 seconds of a stream, or, you know, accidentally showed balls on Cyberpunk. So,
yeah. It's, I don't know that everyone that I've spoken to and every creator that I watch are all saying that like it's so much more strict now than it ever used to be, and that sucks because I feel like feeling this feeling now of wanting to do it, much later in life, it makes you really think like, what if you adopted early? But I don't think anyone kind of, I don't know how it is for everyone. Like I feel like if now that my mindset's changed, because I think we're on a different boat. Like I kind of more do it on more like as a hobby, pastime. It's a little more fun. But I can't imagine the pressure that you'd feel, man, doing it at this point in the game. Sheesh, man. Yeah, that would bug the crap out of me too.
Yeah, you have to love it. Like,
right.
I don't think there's any other way that it's worth it.
Yeah.
You have to love it. And I love it, but I'm also trying to figure out like the way that I want to do it, because I think the hardest thing for a content creator is to worry too much about trying to please your audience, because you either make them happy or you don't. They're going to watch another video. If they don't like the video, they're going to watch another stream if they don't like the stream. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made was when I did things that worked, I just tried to do that more, even if it was a one-off thing. So let's say I played Elden Ring and viewership went crazy, but I didn't like the game. Well, in the next stream, I go back to Final Fantasy or whatever, and, I pull half the viewership. I'm like, oh, I should go back to Elden Ring. But now I'm doing this thing I don't like for the views, selling out. And this unhappiness, this dissatisfaction is growing in here.
Yeah.
This resentment, and it starts to build, but it's almost like a relationship, you and your community. The resentment grows between you and your community. Like, because I'm like, why the fuck don't you support me? As selfish as it is, but I'm just going to keep it real with you. People will tell you as a streamer, they will constantly say to you, play the games you want to play. We want to see you play the games that you want to play. We want to support you. But every time I do it, my viewership goes down.
Rex is telling the truth now, guys.
My viewership goes down by half, or it goes down to a third.
Yeah.
My community. Okay, so I told you I started my gaming channel when The Last of Us 2 controversy was happening, right?
Yeah.
I never played the game. My community begged me, play it, motherfucker. We want to watch you suffer, because I hated it. I'm sorry. I didn't like what they did storyline wise with that game.
Oh, likewise.
I just didn't. I went and canceled my pre-order and got Ghost of Tsushima instead. Best decision I ever made. And my community, though, they were like, play it, motherfucker, play it. And so I did. I finally did. And when I built my community doing a lot of meme stuff, a lot of cringe content, random content, multiplayer games, I finally played The Last of Us 2 thinking like it was going to be some big event. 4 people. I didn't understand. But what I understand now is that you really have to create your own identity, and it has to be unwavering. It has to be whether you're doing a character or you're just going all the way mask off. You need to go all the way with it, and you need to absolutely quarterback it yourself.
Yeah.
And the moment you start playing to your audience too much, it bites you in the ass. It bites you in the ass every time. And even if you experience success doing it, maybe some people can be happy doing that, but I just can't.
Right.
No matter how much success, like when I had 100 people in my chat and I was playing a game that I didn't like, I was not happy. I didn't give a fuck how good my numbers were. Like there were people that were like, bro, it's like a dick to have 100 people watching me every stream. I get it. And I felt that way too, until I had it, and I still wasn't fucking happy because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And it's frustrating when that's all in your soul. That's the only thing you want, is to do what you want to do. And then your chat is like, do it. We're here for you. And then you do it and viewers drop. But that's because that's not anybody's fault but your own, because you built your community on this, and now you want to do this. You can't expect them to stay when you're switching content like that.
Right.
So if you switch content, that's your decision, and you have to take the consequences that come with it, which means that you're going to have to build a new community here now. It's almost like switching platforms. If you go from playing Call of Duty every stream to Minecraft, motherfucker, you might as well be switching from YouTube to Twitch, because now you're going to have to go over here and build up in the Minecraft community. And Call of Duty ain't with that. Most of them, like 80% of your audience ain't down for that switch. So you know, there's been a lot of lessons learned. You know, being a content creator, we don't get to go to school for this shit, man. There's no college classes I can take, you know. There's maybe Skillshare. I could sign up for classes over there maybe, but there's nobody. I have had content creators that are bigger than me give me some good advice from time to time. I don't want to pretend that that's never happened, but I've never had another content creator just put their arm around me and say, hey, you know, like when I was training to be a pro wrestler, nobody's going to train me for this, man. Every mistake I've made was a mistake that I had to make to learn and grow from. And having to make that mistake in front of so many people, especially when you're live, fuck, man. Like, I've learned some hard fucking lessons, bro. I've been doxxed. I've had, man, I've been through it all, dude. Like, in a very short amount of time. Because you got to think about it. I went from having 17 people in that chat to 5K. I had some really weird, creepy parts of the internet catch wind of who I was when I went viral on that one stream. And, for a long time, those people harassed me and trolled me, and bro, I was so new to streaming. I fell for it almost every time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because you still got that innocence. You don't think, oh, they're not gonna do anything like that, right?
Yeah. I remember I had somebody donate to me. This is right after the abandoned streams. You know, I had somebody donate to me, and they were like, "Hey Rex, what's your favorite kind of vinegar?" And I was like, "What kind of question is that?" And so I read the chat, and I was like, "I don't understand that question at all." Well, when I saw the clip later that day, I understood.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a shame,
fell for
man.
it. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And I was, like you said, I was like a naive child. I was like a baby. Like, I didn't understand what was happening until the troll was already done. And then I would see the clip on Twitter, or I'd see the clip somewhere else. There's actually an entire YouTube channel dedicated to canceling me that exists. You know, which obviously I'm not gonna promo the channel, but yeah, it exists and YouTube knows about it. And I reported it multiple times because they've got videos where they've created fake text message conversations between, this is Rex Sterling and a 12-year-old girl.
Oh my gosh.
And I have had my full name on the channel, my address in the video descriptions. And I went to YouTube. I even went on YouTube's like help desk support, like speaking with an agent live.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to do something. You can't tell me this isn't against TOS. Like, targeted harassment is against TOS on the platform. You can't tell me. It is. You can't tell me this is not. They will not do anything about it. They will not take it down. I don't know why, but they will not do anything to help me with it. And I would, I've just accepted that, they're probably just going to make another fucking channel if it gets deleted anyway. Fuck it. It is what it is. But, when I first caught wind of it, of course it upset me. But now it's just like, it's part of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, that's, I kind of tell people, like, that's kind of a flex now. Like, because you're living in somebody's head rent free. Yeah. And they're in a way promoting you. I'll give you an example. And this is on a minor scale. But I saw earlier, I didn't get to say anything, by the way. I apologize. I was kind of like scrambling, getting ready to get everything done because I was at work, and I noticed you were talking about, for example, the Sniper Wolf situation.
Yeah.
What an interesting situation that is, to where, okay, you've got one person here. You got Sniper Wolf. Everyone's critical of her, of the way she does content. Mm-hmm. And you got somebody named Jax Films on the other side who's kind of like doing a parody of her and like kind of critiquing what it is that she's doing and how she's doing it. I think there's a world where they can both exist, because in a way he's kind of promoting her. Now, she ended up doing something really wrong that made me go to her Instagram today, which I'm sure you're aware of, where she
doxed him.
Yeah, she freaking doxed him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, in the worst way, I ended up going to her page. And then in this, and I'm not saying it's the same scenario. We can get into it if you'd like, but you've got someone like that who's like talking about you constantly on their YouTube. Who's to say someone's going to go to your chat, maybe go to your stream and be like, hey, is this true? And you can actually have a conversation, and you can possibly win someone over. Yeah. You can possibly get an audience from it. So maybe I'm not someone who's trying to, break through too much on here. I'm just doing it for fun. But I would tell you, maybe it could be a good thing. It could be a blessing in disguise. I know don't know if you believe everything happens for a reason or not, but I'll tell you what, man, like it could be something. It could be something good for you to have someone always posting about you, always trying to talk about you. A lot of the times they end up making themselves look dumb anyway. You know what I mean? Now, again, I'm not saying it's the same situation, but you know, in a way, she ended up getting bad promotion and me going to her page to see if she still had the picture up, which she took down because of course she did. You know what I mean? But that was about as far as I was ever gonna go on her freaking stupid Instagram. But you know, maybe one day you may end up meeting someone that way and be like, hey, I saw this post about you. What's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I agree with what you were saying about how they should both be allowed to exist on the platform. Like the way that Sniper Wolf makes her content is so fucking lazy. Like it just is what it is, you know?
And that's separate from the doxing thing. I mean, she kind of, to me, like a lot of people are calling for her channel to like get shut down. She kind of did it to herself. Like that's a big no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can both exist. You can both critique each other all day, all night until the cows come home. You cross a line though. You cross a line when you start talking about addresses. And that's where I'm saying, like, outside of that weirdo who's doing the content about you, like kind of like shaming you, him putting your address and your full name, like, yeah, YouTube, this is the problem with YouTube. This is so annoying. The inconsistency, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, I think one of the biggest problems is that I think a lot of people that are in charge of these policies and in charge of regulating these things, you know, they're typically older. They're not content creators most of the time. And I don't think they understand like how dangerous some of this stuff is. Like what Sniper Wolf did is fucking psychotic. Going to the guy's house and taking pictures outside of his house. Like insane.
Dude, it's like, and I was thinking like, imagine if that was Kai Cenat. Look at what happened when he did it in New York. I'm going to be in New York. I'm going to give away a free PS5. Look how crazy that got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if it was a streamer like his level saying, this is Jack's Films house. It'd be burnt to the ground.
Yeah. And
like she doesn't understand how absolutely pathetically stupid that was.
Yeah, it was so dumb. Like, because the thing about it is like, maybe her intention, like I could see her being delusional and selfish enough that she's like, well, I'm not going to actually hurt him or do anything like that. Cause she's only thinking about herself. You're not thinking about the fact that you have like millions of simps.
Yes.
And like, we've seen how if like, for instance, if they get Amaranth's address or Sniper Wolf's address, they'll show up at their house. You know, I'm in love with you or whatever kind of crazy psychotic shit.
There was the one, I don't know her name. It was a female Twitch streamer. She some weirdo went
car
and burnt her. Yeah, like are you out of your mind? Like
that was her car on fire.
It's so irresponsible. And I think, and even like, and going back to the Kai situation, I think he got charged for it. So she, at the minimum, she should be charged. I don't know, you know, what's gonna happen of it because she took it down, but at the minimum, like she should at least get some type of warning, some type of suspension, something, because you know things happen where people get hurt,
exactly,
seriously hurt. Yeah,
it's like it's just like
so
she might not do anything to him, but who's to say that some psychotic fan didn't see that and it's like, I'm gonna do this for my girl.
And let's be real, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
she thinks she's being tongue in cheek. She's being cute. I just want to talk. Here's his address, everyone. Come on, man.
Ignorant.
On the Instagram of all places. Come on, girl. Come on, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely hope that YouTube takes some kind of action against her channel, simply because I really think it's important that YouTube sends a message that shit is not tolerated on the platform, because if they don't, then we might see more of this type of shit.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, because let's be honest, like they've shown countless inconsistencies.
Yeah.
They've shown countless times the rules don't apply to certain people.
Yeah.
You know, it's I wouldn't be surprised, because you know, that was a big problem with the whole EDP situation, where people were just talking about it and they were losing their channels.
Yeah.
Or not their channels, but I think it was either getting demonetized or they were like flat out getting taken down or something along those lines. But I know people were getting in trouble just talking about it.
Yeah, and you know what my theory is almost about that is that I think YouTube was okay with a lot of the views and okay with a lot of the numbers that situations like that would bring to the table in a way, like, but it's almost like YouTube also doesn't want other creators talking about, you know, a fucking pedophile on their platform, because YouTube's like, oh, this is bad for business, bad for advertisers. We don't want people knowing this exists, but they don't want to shut it down either. Sometimes it's like you said, it's super inconsistent. I don't know if YouTube is going to take any action with Sniper Wolf or not. I just know that they should, you know, but you know, these situations, I just don't know. Like you saw with Quantum TV, it was the same thing. Quantum TV was openly like, if not issuing death threats against other creators, saying, I hope you die. I wish you would have died in this terrorist attack that happened, like the nightclub shooting at that LGBT club. And I can't remember. It was in the United States, though. And somebody who was a part of that community criticized him. And he was like, why couldn't you have died in that? It's like there has to be lines, bro. Like there has to be lines.
Yeah. He called Ackman's mom.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, and he gets surprised when Ackman's like, it's on site. Because that's how it goes in most places. You don't just go to someone's mother. Like, people die for less. Like, it's crazy.
And again, if YouTube would step in in situations like that, when they're needed, creators wouldn't have to take it upon themselves to you know, defend themselves and stuff like that. So I just don't understand. You know, I don't understand how these decisions are made, but I just know that, you know, what Sniper Wolf did should be illegal. And
100%.
If it's not illegal, it's only because the people in charge of those legalities don't understand how dangerous it is. We've seen people die from getting doxxed and getting swatted. We've already seen multiple people have been murdered. We saw that situation. Was it Cleveland? I can't remember, that Call of Duty situation. The guy swatted the wrong house.
And someone died. Yeah. It's insanity.
Insane. And just a terrible situation. And it's like, that is the risk that you put people at when you start, especially when you're a large creator like Sniper Wolf, who has millions of fans. Plenty of them, I'm sure, just statistically speaking, have to be like mentally unwell. I'm sure somebody might do so. If she's not, somebody else will. It's like, you cannot allow that shit, man.
No. And it's a shame, man. Yeah, it's a shame. Like, I hate to be cynical. I don't expect YouTube to do anything, but I will tell, and I encourage everyone, and you included, man. We gotta protect ourselves, man.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta protect ourselves. We gotta learn from these things, observe, and be like, okay, YouTube moves this way, I'm gonna have to move a certain way, because clearly they don't have my best interest, unfortunately, and that's what you're doing. I think you going multi-plat, trying different platforms, seeing what works here, seeing what works there, separating, kind of diversifying your assets, if you will, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
I think it's the smartest thing you could do, man, because you clearly can't rely on just one. You can't.
Exactly. And that's why, like, there are times I second guess myself. There's times I'll go live on Twitch. I did an Overwatch collab last night. I think you were in the chat, man.
I was there. Yeah. Stop by a little bit. No problem. I was washing dishes. I figured I'd say hi.
But you saw, like, last night it was like 2 or 3 viewers while I was doing that, and, like, you know, the numbers sit in your mind as a creator. I'm like, if I was on YouTube right now,
right.
But I know the way that I'm hurting myself streaming doing every stream. I still stream on YouTube. Like, for instance, Monday morning when the Spider-Man 2 reviews are going live on Metacritic, I'll be live on YouTube covering that. Because a lot of people don't understand how discovery works different on Twitch and YouTube, and I'm not going to dive into it. I don't want to get, like, too far off. But YouTube is a search engine. And so if you know that people are on YouTube searching for something specific that you can stream about, you're going to get views based off of, you know, proper SEO. And so when the Metacritic scores release for Spider-Man 2, that's going to be at, I think, 10 a.m. Eastern. Monday morning. I'm going to go live around 9 a.m., hang out with my community, and we'll be there live to react to, like, how's it going to do? We'll be placing bets on, is it going to go 85 to 90, 90 to 95? You know what I mean? Just having fun with it. And when the reviews go live, I'll be there covering it. On Twitch, the way discoverability works on Twitch is more based on being in a very specific game category or chatting category or something like that. It's categorically separated instead of search engine based. Most people don't just go to Twitch and type in for instance, like the name of like a retro game that they want to watch. Most people already have a creator on Twitch that they're watching. Like they saw their TikToks or they saw their YouTube or whatever. The way that discoverability works on Twitch is typically off platform. So if I go to Twitch and I stream that, I'll be streaming it to nobody because nobody's on Twitch. Like, how are the Spider-Man reviews? So it's like understanding how discoverability works on the platforms and how to grow on the platforms. It's not something that I'll ever claim to completely understand, but it's one of those things that I think that you're handicapped if you don't understand it. Like, you're seriously handicapping your own growth if you don't understand the differences between streaming on the platforms. Even Kick is it's like a frat house right now, but it's its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And growing there, I don't think you're going to go over there and play Animal Crossing and grow, you know?
Right.
But on Twitch, you got a shot, you know, and then on YouTube, you're not, unless it's trending. So it's just like understanding those differences. So I try to stream things that I think are really good for my YouTube channel on YouTube. I still care about my community on YouTube and being live with them. You know, I've had a lot of channel members that got their memberships while I was live. I don't want them to feel like, you know, that was money wasted or anything like that. I care. So I try to stream on YouTube and I try to stream on Twitch, but I try to be very particular about the content that I stream and where it fits. You know, for instance,
I noticed when you put up your schedule, it was like you made it very specific. Like, this is going to be on Twitch, this is going to be on YouTube, and I'm glad you explained that. I never heard it put that way.
Yeah,
ever.
Like, for instance, I was going to do on that schedule you were talking about next week. I'm supposed to be doing Diablo 4 Season 2 drops Tuesday, I think. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I was going to do Diablo 4 on YouTube with my community. And then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, first of all, most of the big streamers that I want to collab with play Diablo on Twitch. So if I want to collab with them, that's definitely, and then there's drops. Like, I need to go do that on Twitch. So I went back and changed my schedule, and I'm gonna go do those on Twitch now. I'll come over on YouTube and do something else that I think works better here. But, you know, just starting to figure that stuff out. It's really important. It's probably the most important thing to figure out, I think, because until you have it figured out, you're probably going to do what I did for so long, where you're bouncing back and forth and you're constantly changing your content. I can't tell you how much I upset my community doing that. I literally had people that watch me every stream just cuss me out and leave because they're like, I'm so fucking tired of you changing your mind. You do this for a week and it doesn't do good enough. So you do this for a week and it does okay. So then you do it for 2 weeks and we're invested. And then you switch again because you had a bad day. Or then you go to Twitch and you stream there. What the fucking, just, why can't you just fucking have a schedule and that's what they expect. Like, people, that's why it pisses me off when people are like, oh, it's not like real work though. It's not like a real job. Bitch, I have expectations on me by my community that are more than any manager I've ever had. Like, them motherfuckers are like, what's your schedule? Like, when are you live? Like, motherfucker, like, you said you were playing this. Why did I come in here and you're playing this? Like, it's, you know, and if you're not with it and you're not on top of it, like any other job, and not really like a job, but more like managing your own business, if you don't stay on top of it, it will get away from you. You know, and I've dropped from 80 to 40, 80 to 20, fucking around like that and not being on top of my shit. And you will just constantly bounce around and not have it figured out and annoy your viewers forever until you figure that out. So it's really important to figure that out first, I think, as a content creator.
Yeah. Getting it set in stone and doing that. Yeah, that's interesting. Because I find myself doing that a lot. I like checking out different things and like kind of streaming it. And then there's an obvious difference, but how do you kind of, I guess, how do you settle with that? Like, knowing that that's going to happen, but you still do it anyway. Like, how do you settle with that?
Just understanding the platforms better. Like, for instance, what I used to do is I used to go live on YouTube, and I'm a variety streamer, right? So I might do a couple of reacts and then, you know, play a game. And then maybe after a while, I'll switch to another game or do another react or whatever. And I noticed that wasn't doing very well. Now, I had to be on the platform a while, doing that for a while before I figured out that there was an issue with the content. Like, a lot of times you'll know you're not growing, but you won't know why if you don't really analyze your content and what you're doing. What I figured out with a better understanding of Twitch and YouTube is that when you go live on YouTube, what do you have to do? Well, you know, you got to schedule your stream, right? And then you got to make your thumbnail, right? Well, if I'm going to do reacts, and then I'm gonna play Cyberpunk for a while, and then maybe I'll do some Call of Duty at the end. What kind of fucking thumbnail are you about to make for that? Right? When you make a thumbnail, you need your thumbnail to be, you need to run your streams on YouTube like it's going to be a YouTube video. So you want your VOD, you want to be able to leave your VOD up and your VOD be its own YouTube video. So it needs to be very focused. I want my content, my streams to be very focused on YouTube, because what happens is I'll put out a thumbnail with Call of Duty on it, but if I don't start with Call of Duty, and if I'm not playing Call of Duty when somebody walks in, they're out. Because all they know is you advertise Call of Duty, I get here and that's not what I see. I'm out. Peace. Twitch is a much better platform for doing multiple types of content inside of one stream, and then going back and clipping that content to post as YouTube videos separately. So that you can, so on Twitch, I've realized I can react for a while, and then I can just listen to some music for a while that I can't play on YouTube anyway. So it's like I've done my reacts, right? So there's my content. There's 1 or 2 YouTube videos reacts, right? Now I'm gonna listen to music for a while, hang out with my community, and just talk to them, give them my full attention. I'm not making content right now. I'm just giving them my full attention. Do that for a while. All right, let's jump into the game for today. Shut everything down, no DMCA music, hit record on OBS, and then I play that game. There's episode 1 of that playthrough, or I go back later and I clip it. Maybe I tell a little story with it, like a funny YouTube video, or I get a really good clip. Like I have a clip that I'm going to put up in the next day or 2 of my reaction to a prominent character dying in Cyberpunk 2077, because I went in blind and I was totally caught off guard when this one character died, and I was just like shook, and I was like, this is a great fucking clip. So yeah, I've learned that viewers are much more willing on Twitch to go along for the ride. They're not looking for, are you only going to do this one thing today? It's just discoverability is different on Twitch, and the culture there is different. They're much more willing to go along for the ride. On YouTube, when I put a stream on YouTube, it's like that Spider-Man stream. The whole thumbnail is about that Metacritic score. I'm going live before the Metacritic score goes up. We're going to talk about Spider-Man. We might play Spider-Man. We're going to react to Spider-Man, and then I'm ending the fucking stream. I'm not staying live for shit afterwards. I don't care how people be like, oh, stay and hang out, daddy. No. If I want to do that, I'll start another stream with another thumbnail, because I want to get this like very, very like condensed, focused experience for my viewers. And then I want to end the stream. I want to start strong. I want to do the content I said I was going to do, and I want to end strong. And then I want that video, that VOD there, that I don't need to, I'm not going to go back and edit it. I'm gonna leave it up, and it's exactly what the fuck it says it is. So when viewers see that VOD, they know, oh, it's, I'm going to watch it. I know what I'm getting. Rex is going to do Spider-Man, and so it's the same thing. Like when I play, say I play Armored Core, if I was starting Armored Core on Twitch, I'd go live, I'd do some reacts, hang out with my community, start the game, and it would be a relaxed thing, blah, 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 blah. If I'm doing it on YouTube, I'm setting my thumbnail, Armored Core, I'm starting with Armored Core in the background, we're playing Armored Core, and then we're done. Yeah. And that's just how now that I have that understanding of this works better here and this works better here. When you're live on Twitch, you need to be like live with your audience, in the moment with your audience. When you're live on YouTube, you need to think of that as I'm recording a YouTube video live. That's how focused your content needs to be. Streaming on YouTube is harder than streaming on Twitch, but the potential rewards and growth are much higher if you know what you're doing. So, and I realize I say that as somebody who sometimes has, 8 people in my chat. I'm not saying that I'm the epitome of what I'm talking about. I'm not the epitome of it. You know what I mean? How do you pronounce that fucking word? But I'm not the best example of it, because I'm still figuring it out. But this is what I figured out so far.
Okay. Yeah, I've had that criticism before too. Like, cause I think it's better, because like you said, we didn't really come into this with like a tutorial or like, a high school class to like understand how to do it. So I feel like, and I appreciate you coming on here to say these things, because it's better to hear it first and have people hear it from you if they do decide to get into this, because, like you said, there's no manual, there's no nothing. These are just things we're learning. So, and then obviously, for those who stick around in your journey, they'll see if it paid off or not. And if it doesn't, and you didn't change anything, I'm sure you'll learn and adapt like you always have been.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like there's any real like win-lose scenario necessarily, because it's like I only lose if I quit.
Right.
If I'm constantly adapting, trying new things, changing things, working on things, still streaming, still making videos, then I'm still in the game, whether I'm doing well or not doing well. And the ride is always going to be like this, right? There's always going to be ups and downs. So I think, you know, the closest thing I could call success on YouTube is you get on these waves with these ups and downs, and it's harsh, man, because when you're riding high, and when you're low, you're low. And your goal is to build your understanding of the platform and content creation to a point to where you can start to ride that wave up here for way longer, you know, as you're getting more consistent and your editing is better and your production is better, and you know you're more like in tune with your audience, you're more in tune with the content you're making, when is it good to post, when not, etc. And then you get to ride those highs for longer. But when you have lows, you just, I mean, as long as you don't quit and you stick with it, and you're willing to, you have to be willing to kind of confront yourself when it comes to what you're doing wrong, though. You have to be willing to put your ego aside, and you have to be willing to criticize yourself. And if you don't criticize yourself, then you're setting yourself up to be heavily criticized by somebody else who's probably going to be not nice about it. Or worst case scenario, what you do won't matter enough to warrant criticism, and that's probably the worst feeling. Yeah, and I've been through it all, you know, and you know, as long as you're still making content and still working on it, you know, you just keep going, you know.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. I was actually going to ask you what success looked like to you, so I'm glad you already jumped into that. Real quick though, before the next topic, Ben, I was going to ask you, I don't know how you're doing on time. I don't know how much time you got. I want to respect your time.
Oh, I'm good. You know, would it be all right? Because I'm sure if we've had viewers here the whole time, they might need a bathroom break too. Is it all right if we just take a little one real quick?
Absolutely, man. Take all the time you need, brother.
All right, bro. I'll be right back.
Take your time. Take your time. Oh man, this is a good one. I like it. Oh, gonna do a little stretching action. For those of you tuning in on YouTube, appreciate it if you guys would leave a like and check out Rex Sterling. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, or any other platforms like that, you should leave a rating and let me know that you listen that way, because some of you guys are listening, but you're not saying anything. So if you let me know that you're listening on there, I would greatly appreciate it. I'd love to help you out in any way, shape, or form. This is happening right now live on a Saturday, so we'll probably be posting it right after this. And I'm hoping that you are enjoying your Saturday. Whoever's in the chat, it's good to see you there. Appreciate you guys pulling up. It's very nice. San Sebastian, John, Demented, appreciate it, guys. Please definitely leave a like. It's been good, man. It's been good getting to know Rex Sterling. We still didn't even get into some other stuff on how we actually know each other, but we've been diving into the mind. He's been very enlightening, and he seems very driven on what he's talking about, man. But I guess that's what's gonna happen when you go through what he's been through and learning what he's been learning. Hope you guys are getting something from it. But one thing's for certain, you can see he's pretty serious about this stuff, you know. And I guess that's what it takes, you know. He ain't goofy like us. We're just doing this for fun and for the memes and for the games, like I was doing yesterday. I was playing. I've been getting into Fear, the original Fear from 2005, and I'll tell you what, man, I've been enjoying it so much, I might have to talk about it on a video and my experiences. So, like I said, I appreciate you all tuning in. It's good to see you all. Lightning Shot, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you guys pulling up.
I'm so sorry. I need one more moment. I apologize. This is my roommate. It might be important. I'm so sorry.
Take all the time you need, my brother. We're just sitting here talking and chit-chatting. Taking a little break. Make sure you guys stay hydrated, man. I'm over here running my trap, and I haven't drunk as much water as I should. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday, man. Is the fight done yet with Dylan and Logan? Who got knocked out? What are you guys rooting for? Is it finished? Anybody watching it? Yeah, that's a nice chair, ain't it? Anybody watching that fight? Let's see if we can look it up. Maybe the results are already posted. I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. I'm so sorry about that.
Hey, you do not have to apologize, my brother. You are a human being. So yeah. Real quick, Logan Paul did defeat Dylan Dallas. I can't say I'm surprised.
What was it? Boxing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he would. What was it? Was it decision?
So from what I'm seeing, they're not saying exactly. They're just saying he won. I think it just happened. Oh, he got knocked down though by Logan, so it may be TKO or KO. I don't know. But he's on his butt in some of these Twitter pictures. So, like I said, I can't say I'm surprised. It seemed like Logan was kind of taking it a little bit more serious than he was, because apparently the dude was out partying the night of, like 24 hours prior, which is like a telltale sign you probably don't care. Because the only thing you should be doing is either like some light sparring or moving and some heavy hydration, and not on alcohol.
Yeah, the fight ended with a brawl. Yeah, Dylan Dennis tried to take him down with MMA grapples, and it turned into a full brawl at the end.
Yeah, he wasn't taking it serious.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Logan would beat him. I didn't expect Dylan to win for a minute. He won on Twitter, but I didn't think he was going to beat him in the ring. I didn't think
well, that's what I was thinking. I think George Janko, guy who used to be in his podcast, said it best. He was like, the one thing I can say about Logan is that he works hard. And now you're talking crap about his fiance and putting a fire in somebody who already works hard.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I mean, if you go there, you better be able to back it up when you're face to face.
Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, listen, in the real world, I wouldn't have done anything Dylan did, no matter what. You know what I mean? That's kind of like locker room talk, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but to do it publicly like that on Twitter and expect the guy to not want to take your head off, I don't know.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, man. And yeah, I'm glad it didn't escalate like to anybody getting legitimately hurt. But man, that was rough. That was rough.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, just as a man, I have to give Logan Paul some props. I know people don't like him, but I have to give him some props on being able to maintain his relationship through that, because that shit. That had to be hard to see every day. I'm sure he was trying to block it, but I mean, it could have even gotten into her. He could have really fucked their relationship up. And I don't know anything about their relationship or what she's like. I saw the same clips everybody else did, and I had probably the same reactions everybody else. Was like, oh, it's kind of rough. But you know, it's just like, damn, like as a man, if I would have been in Logan's position, bro, you want to talk about how fucking mad bro. Yeah. I can't. On site.
Oh my gosh. I've seen worse. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely did the right move keeping it professional and in the cage. And I didn't
think the fight was going to happen. I was like, there's no way this doesn't get somehow called off. So I'm glad they were able to go through with it.
Yeah. He can get his frustrations out. But yeah, we're not to get too sidetracked. This is about you. And I want to, real quick, get into the reason that we're even, like, I guess, related in a way.
That's Jakerton,
the family, right? The Wholesome rated. How did that go for you? You know, and how's that been experienced, by the way?
Man, I never forget it. I still talk to Jakerton every once in a while. You know, obviously he's a large creator. If anybody doesn't know Jakerton, you know, he's got millions of subscribers on YouTube. He does a lot of, meme reacts and stuff like that. It's like if Sniper Wolf made good content, kind of. And he's a great guy, great creator, super busy. So I talk to him maybe 6 months to a year. Like there'll be like a little Twitter DM, like, hey, how you doing? But I'll always be thankful for that. That was a really special moment for me, because that was in the middle of those internet issues that I was having. With malware bites like fucking up my OBS and stuff. So Stray had just come out, and I was playing Stray on YouTube, and it was I think I did it over 3 days, and I think I was on day 2 or 3, and man, things have been going so bad. Like my streams, you know, they were getting shut off within minutes. The bit rate would be almost zero. I was having to end streams constantly. I was watching all my numbers just plummet because I couldn't go live. I didn't know what was going on. I was calling my ISP constantly, blah, 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 right? So I remember that day because I was so depressed and I was so upset before I went live, I remember I was in my living room and I got on my knees and I prayed to God. I was like, please let me have a good stream today. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't, because this was at a time where when I started making content, I was engaged. And when I started grinding YouTube really, really hard, it took a lot of my time, and my fiance was used to having most of my attention. And when I started getting into this new career and getting really, really serious about it, I had a really hard time juggling the relationship and that grind together, which I think anybody would have that problem.
Yeah, I'm married. You gotta be,
Yeah. So there's going to be growing pains there. I'm sure it would be the same if you started a career, like if you started going back to college, pushing hard for a degree. Like, so I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. I did a poor job managing it. And, so our engagement ended, we broke up, and she had just moved out. So I was alone again, and the streams were bombing. So the thing that I had just committed to so much, and I had lost my, my future wife, I was depressed. I was like real bad. So I remember before that stream, I prayed. I was like, please, and I'm not even like personally, like I don't go to church. I'm not like a really religious guy. I was raised in a religious home, but I was never really super religious myself. Like I don't, identify as any particular religion.
No problem.
But I do acknowledge that I'm part of something that's not me, right? So there's me and my consciousness and what I am, and there's something else. So like I believe that the world around me is alive and I can interact with it, and I can ask for things. And I did. I was like, please let me have a good stream today. And that was the day Jagerton raided me. I was sitting there, I was playing Stray to like, maybe like 10, 15 people. I was playing the game, and all of a sudden the number just jumped up to like 1,200. And I was like, what? And, he rated me and had a great rest of the stream. Like the next stream was great. Like it helped me so much. I sent him a very, very, long, genuine thank you on Twitter after that. I sent him a message telling him how much it meant to me and, what he did for me, and thanking him for that. And then it introduced me to other people that he had rated. And so that opened up the door for collabs, working with other people, doing what we're doing right now. And that's how we met, both being a part of that community. And I would love to know like how it happened with you.
Yeah. So interesting. I talked to a lot of people who have been rated by Jagerton and heard from their experiences. So when it happened to me, it was like out of body. I was like, there's no way it's actually happening. Like, you know what I mean? Cause I was so used to hearing about it that the fact that it's actually happening to me, it didn't click. I didn't even know how to like really react. I was kind of just like, all I felt was like an overwhelming sense of gratitude. And I almost wish like there was a way I could like repay him, because again, like for him to do that to me, I almost feel I'm still kind of like, why me? Because the way he does it is so unique, and I like the way that like he said, like he sets up a server for other people who've been rated and kind of get to talk to them and get to know people. And and this podcast, by the way, has been nothing but a blessing. Like you've given me things that I've never heard before that I wish I maybe have heard earlier, and I appreciate that. And kind of like similar to you, like I was kind of in a place where like I wasn't really feeling like I belong in some places. And I'm happy to report that, and he's in the chat right now. And by the way, guys, don't take it personal if I'm not acknowledging you in the chat. I want to give my guests the respect, but I will say, and I'm happy to report, there's a lot of people, more than I expected, because I didn't expect one person. They still come back and like interact with me. They give me respect. They talk to me in the server. They'll, kind of hang out and say like, hey, I'm from the Jagerton raid. It's good to see you. You're a great streamer. Giving me so much positivity and love that I didn't really get from certain communities. And I'm just like, wow, like just when I thought I was kind of like ready to maybe hang the hat, like in the sense of like dedicating as much time, right? I was thinking about changing everything, changing my schedule, changing like just having that. And this is just my perspective, and I don't want to make anyone feel no type of way, but just having those like few people that do come from like those raids, from the community that I already had, like that really pushes me, man. It makes me feel like there's something here that's really special, that it's hard to like articulate, I guess. in the few words that I know in English. But the idea of like these people that they've been sticking around and they've been, yeah, like having conversations with people like that and his moderators, I'm just like, dude, like this was worth it. For the little, and success is relative, right? But to me, I already feel like I did it. Like there was so much we did as a community, to the fact that were able to get rated by Jackerson. It's just kind of crazy, along with everything else that I felt like was a huge success. So, you know, I'm grateful. And I'm not pushing anything on you, but I will tell you this with confidence and with I guess I mean this in the best way possible. Everything happens for a reason, brother.
Yeah,
that's why we're here. You know, however you want to take it, you know. But everything happens for a reason. The fact that we're talking here, the fact that we're making content this way, the fact that we're, you know, hopefully enriching each other. Because I feel like, and I don't know, and I'd love to hear your take on this. By the way, speaking of collabs and all that, there's some people that are a little more cynical about collabs. There's some people that say these people just want to siphon your viewership, right? That's the only thing they want. And I just don't have that cynical view on like collabs. If anyone has known me long enough, I've collabed with a lot of people. And I go into it with the mindset of like, there's a benefit, there's a back and forth. We can both benefit. We can both, you know, I like to live in a world where like everybody can eat. I don't know if that makes sense. Why do some people look at it as like you're almost being like vampiric, for lack of a better term, versus this can be an exchange like right now, like what we're having, where we're having a conversation and it's mutually enriching. We both leave this conversation like better people. And whatever happens, whatever is the fruits of that, it's almost like more personal gain than it is like career gain. But again, I have a different perspective because I don't just look at it strictly as like a career. So I guess like if I'm looking at it from the lens of just like, I need to do what's optimal at all times, maybe I'd be a little more cynical, but I just kind of look at people more like human beings. But I guess that's and to end the rant that I'm going on right now, I apologize.
No, you're good.
I guess this is like the benefit in a way that I guess I can talk like this because I haven't reached that point. You know, like I feel like if I was like, if my viewership was like over 50,000 all the time, and you know, I was like on the upper echelon of streamers, I probably wouldn't be saying these things.
Right.
And maybe it's for the best. Like everything happens for a reason. I feel like if I just started off and my first stream was viral, I probably would be an arrogant idiot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But you get humbled.
Yeah.
Those times where you get those 2 viewers, it makes you reassess. It makes you sit back and think, you know what? There's a reason why I'm here, and I got to think about why that is, and maybe I got to be okay with that and just learn to do better, you know? But that's the end of my rant. What do you think about that? You know, have you ran into people that are cynical about collabs? Have you ran into, like, what's your idea on it? What do you think? Like, I'd love to hear your side because you did not have to do this. You reached out. A lot of people, I reached out to a lot of people, dude, and they'll see my stuff and they're like, who the hell is this guy? You know, like, are you kidding me? So the fact that you even accepted it, it's a great honor. I'd love to hear, like, you know, what's going through your head?
I don't know.
What was yours? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I feel like it's an honor in the reverse sense, like that, you know, anybody would even want to interview me. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, like, I can't relate to the mindset that some people have, but they're probably mentally or like with their maturity in a place where I was maybe 10 years ago or something like that. Because it's an insecure mindset, right? You know, I don't want to collab with you because I don't want you to steal my viewers. That's, first of all, you don't have control over viewers like that. Like what it tells me is that you're afraid that your content's not good enough to hold people's attention, so they'll go somewhere else. You can't control viewers though. Viewers they're going to find other streamers. They're going to see other YouTube videos, other content creators. Everybody's got TikTok or Instagram or whatever, Twitter. They're going to find other creators, and if they want to watch them, they're going to watch them. Like that thought is just best to go ahead and get rid of that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to work with anybody that has that mindset, because what your mind should be focusing on is making your content good enough that people will want to stay regardless of what else they could be watching right now. And that's the right mentality to have. And collabs are great for experience. They're great for growth. Like, yeah, like anytime I collab with somebody, there's a chance that my viewer might like, they might like this other person more and start watching them more regularly than me. And that's happened to me before. Like that's happened to me with people I collab with now. They were in my community. They left my community for their community, but that is their freedom. It's happened the other way as well. Like, we're not here to fight over viewership in some sort of like direct competition like that, where we should be like attacking each other. It's more about like, it's more of a democracy. Like you have your product, I have my product, and then the consumer chooses. And that's how I look at it and how I approach it.
And I don't see how you can't have both. Like, I'm sorry, but like people who think that way, like, do you not watch YouTube? Do you just watch one person?
Right. Nobody does. Right.
Like, I don't see why. I love, like, one of my favorite things to do is to see reactions from different people. Oh, I'm thinking like, yo, this cutscene was crazy. Let me see how Tyrone Magnus reacted to it.
Yo, Magnus is amazing, bro.
You know what I mean? I want to see how he reacted to it. All right, let me check out this other channel. Let me check out this other channel. And all their reactions start popping up. Nobody just sticks to one. Like, so it's just like, it sounds like you said, it sounds like it comes from a place of like just, I don't get it. I don't want to use the word narcissism, but I don't, like I said, I don't know that much English. So maybe I'm struggling to find the right word, but it's like, who are you to dictate who they see? And why would you not be honored to maybe open their eyes? It almost feels like an insecurity thing.
It is.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you looking at other girls. You may, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, what am I supposed to just like not walk outside? Like, hello?
Yeah.
No, it's weird.
It is. Yeah. It's an insecure, like I said, it's an insecure mindset to have. And it's just a sign of a lack of confidence in your own content, because I think any content creator that's comfortable and confident in the content that they're making, they don't worry about that. It's like you will like it or you won't, and that's fine. And if there's any constructive criticism that I can get out of this that maybe helps me get better or grow or look at things from a different perspective, that's great too. You don't look at it, I'm like that when I posting React content, like on some of like the little think pieces and stuff that I'll occasionally react to. Bro, I've had times where I got ate up in the comments because there was something that I didn't think about while I was live. Reacting, I have a lot of respect for React content when it's done right. When you have people like Asmongold that do it and things like that, because people that do it right, you're supposed to take a piece of content and then add enough to it of your own content that it becomes transformative.
Yeah.
And
at the very least, you got to add an opinion or something that makes them think of something they didn't think of before. Because you're just having it play and you're doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, exactly. So, and a lot of these pieces are a little bit more serious. They're about, relationships, like stuff with like Andrew Tate, maybe some news with Aiden Ross, what's going on with these platforms.
Yeah.
A lot of viewers take this stuff very seriously. And give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I got to change something.
No problem.
But yeah, viewers take it very seriously. And there's been times where I've been reacting to something and I don't have the right perspective on it, or maybe I get something wrong, or I misinterpret something in the video that I'm watching, and then comments will eat you up. But it used to bother me. Like, I was sensitive. Like, nobody likes to be made fun of or talked about in a negative way. Like, that shit, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. But, I started allowing myself to put out hotter takes, and I started allowing myself, I just started giving myself permission to be wrong more. Because I changed the way I was looking at it from, oh no, I'm wrong, I've embarrassed myself, like I look stupid now, these people think I'm dumb. I changed it from that to, my job with this reaction, especially when I have a smaller chat, you don't understand the advantage that a larger streamer has when they react to content, because they've got, even if they've got 100 people in the chat that are all giving their takes and their opinions, bro, you can just look at your chat and pull something smart out of chat and make it yours right there.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the advantage that you have from having live viewers,
think about that,
who are also reacting with you. Or if you're wrong about something, chat calls you out and you say, oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. And then you get into it live in the same video instead of having to come back later and being like, oh, I was wrong. You know, so it's such an advantage for larger creators. And, you know, I wish I had that, you know, more incentive for me to work harder and make better content to grow my own chat so that I will have that. But when you don't have that, you don't have, you know, people to bounce these ideas off of as much when you're live reacting. You're going to say things that are wrong or don't make sense, or maybe they're a little bit off and nobody's there to call you on it right then. So you're going to get called out later. I look at those videos as a chance for me to start conversations. It's not my job to start it and also end it. I'm okay with starting it. I'm okay with starting it on the wrong foot. I'm okay with starting it and being wrong, and allowing it to continue through more reacts and more videos on the same subject, where I can maybe in another video talk about a comment that I saw that made me think about something different. And I'm allowed that growth as a person. And now that I've kind of switched the way I look at it and I said, you know, it's okay. Like maybe this take isn't great, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. Thank you for that follow. Sorry. Just had an alert blast in my ear, man. Thank you, Jonas. Now that I have allowed myself to, it's okay. I have the idea that it's okay for me to be wrong. Yeah. I've allowed myself to put out some content where I'm not necessarily right every time. Nobody is. And when I'm wrong and people comment on it, first of all, when you're wrong, people comment more anyway. So it boosts engagement. In fact, I'll give you a piece of advice that was crazy to me when I first heard it, because it blew my mind because I never looked at it this way. I had a larger content creator tell me, every time you make a video, or at the very least, if it's a video you really care about, you really want it to do well, deliberately say one thing wrong in that video every time. Deliberately say something that is wrong. Give one piece of glaring misinformation. If you're talking about Metal Gear Solid, call Liquid Snake Solid Snake's cousin or something. Like, say something that is just, people will run to the comments to roast you and correct you, and it boosts engagement so much your video is going to get pushed harder in the I was
even thinking something more innocent, like I know a mispronunciation. A friend of mine, Super Rocker, went through that I collab with a couple times. I think he mispronounced something or misspoke on something, and every single comment was just that. And I was like, dude, it was like a 9-minute video. Like, holy cannoli, you know?
I still think of that girl who was a female creator that they had on the Game Awards like 3 years ago. She called Genshin Impact Genshin Impact. Oh, I still think about that live up there as a creator, as a streamer, or whatever she was up there, game creator, called it Genshin Impact. I was like, how do you do? How? How? It's one of the biggest games in the world. How? So, but you know what? I remember it. So it's like, I've had creators tell me like, you don't like do something or say something wrong that doesn't violate TOS, and your video will get more views. And it's like, I think as a creator, you have to draw the line yourself with how far you go with that. It's like clickbait titles and clickbait thumbnails.
Everybody has their tolerance.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we all have to do it. I think that there are very few cases where people don't do it, but it's just about like how much you engage with it. Like how, like I think there's a difference between something that has a little bit of clickbait versus something that is just openly deceptive. So for me personally, where I draw the line is, if it is something that I talk about in the video or show on screen in the video, it's open season when it comes to the thumbnail and the title. I don't feel like if it's in the video that you're clicking on, I don't feel like it's deceptive. Now, you know, at the same time, could I say, well, this video is about, you know, whatever, Lara Croft, and then it's like 3 minutes of me promoting my Patreon and a picture of Lara Croft. Like, obviously I'm not going to do something like that, you know, but I think that, I think that as creators, we have to draw our own lines, like where we, like how much we engage with stuff like that. So tactics, like psychological tactics that provoke people into commenting, liking, disliking, engagement. Like you see it on Twitter all the time, intentional bad takes to farm engagement, because now Twitter has monetized engagement on the platform, and the platform is going to shit because of it. Because now I mean, 80% of what I see is pure engagement farming.
Yeah.
And you could make the argument that Twitter was always like that, but it's so much worse now, and it's just so open. And so, you know, you just have to, like, I'm not comfortable with it.
No, I don't like it either. I don't like it either because I dealt with it this morning. Like, I don't want to get too into it because it might be a sensitive subject for a lot of people. But the idea of, I'll summarize it the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
There was an AI image that became viral that turned out to be like not even true, and like people weren't sure whether or not it was real or not.
Right.
But the fact that people would like quote tweet it and like, or screenshot it, and they all just want it to be first, just made me look at them differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like now I feel like you're not even really honest because all you're worried about is, like you said, engagement farming, being the first one done, not even trying to like do the right thing. And that's starting to rub me the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know? So, and even for myself, like I pay into the platform because let's be honest, when you're an upcoming creator, you need every advantage you can get. So I'm in there. I'm in those comments and I'm trying my best to at least, I'll give my take, but I'm not gonna just say anything. And I guess that's like you said, it's like a personal, you know, it's like a personal tolerance thing. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. And some people, they'll just throw morality out the window and just say the first thing that sounds good for engagement. It's crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, like I said, you just have to, you know, I'm like you, like I don't like it. I try not to personally judge the people that do it, but I don't like that content. I don't want to see it. I will mute somebody if I just keep seeing that bullshit. Because I feel like it's nothing personal against you. I see what you're doing and I understand why you're doing it. I'm not judging you for it. I just don't like it and I don't want to see it. So it's wasting space on my timeline or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just, you know, and it's the same thing with like clickbait on YouTube. If I see somebody that's baiting too hard, unsubscribe. I don't want to be tricked into viewing your video. It's okay. It's okay. Like I said, like you have to make your thumbnail and you have to make the title of your video provocative. I mean, you have to, especially when you're smaller now and competition is so fierce. If you're not doing it, the person next to you is, and they're getting the views. So it's like, you have to get creative, but I think that there's ways to do it without sacrificing the honesty.
Yeah. Yeah, you know? That's the golden standard, right? You want to have it to where like it's super clickable, but it's not like outlandish to where it's like yeah, like you said, like they baited into a click. So I don't know how long you need to watch to count it as a view. I wish I knew offhand, but
I don't either.
Yeah,
but it's bad. It's just like all the YouTube shorts now. Like every YouTube short that gets recommended to me is a picture of a female athlete who's like 21 years old in booty shorts about to do pole vaulting or something like that. And it's like just like her ass in the middle of a jiggle. And it's like, bro, like it's so obvious.
Yeah.
And then you see it's all of it's like 3 million views, 2 million views, 1.5 million views. And you're just like, God, like, and so it's just like, it's one of those things where if you see that and you're like, you're monetized on YouTube and you're like, why would I turn down this free money?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I can judge you for that. I just don't like the way I feel when I do it. That's why it's like kind of the same way with like girls and like using their bodies to promote their content or fans and stuff like that. It's like I think that's something that a female creator has to relate to more, because like I feel like they're under more pressure for like how they do or don't use their bodies to promote their content. You know, and that's not something that we deal with. You know what I mean? Like for us, we have different issues. But it has to be like the same thing where you're like, how comfortable am I? Like, is this like, I don't know, there's a little bit of cleavage, but I mean, I was going to wear this top anyway. Like, I feel like female creators, when they're posting on Twitter or Instagram stuff, they have to have those thoughts.
Yeah. Like, it just depends on where you stand. Like, I've seen some creators straight up say, like, you can fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? Like, do what you know is gonna work, and then once you get to a point that you're comfortable, then you can like start saying how you really feel. Prime example that everyone likes to reference is Sneeko. You've got half of you got one camp that says what the way he came up was 100% detrimental to society. he has no business being that way. You know, it's wrong. And then you got another side of the camp who's like, he was just doing what he got to do to get to where he's at. Because now apparently he's changing his tune. You heard about this? Like now, so he met up with some younger kids in person, and they're saying like, women, you know, we hate them. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And a lot of people were interpreting as like, that's the real him. And then you've got people that knew him back then who's like, yeah, that's how he actually really is. He doesn't actually believe the crap that he's saying. So, you know, but he's already made it, right? Because success is, you could say that success is objective or subjective depending on who you are. But let's just say, like, in an objective sense, in terms of numbers, he has seen success. And now he has the luxury of being able to, like, actually be honest because he already got what he wanted. So, yeah, I don't know. It just depends on your, like, personal moral compass. But I'm on the side of you. I get why people do it. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Me personally, like, and I've had these conversations with other creators and my wife. I'm just more on the camp of, like, I'm just going to do it legit and it is what it is. But at the same token, like you said, I get it. It's easy to fall into and it's easy to do. You just, you know, do the status quo and watch the views come in. And I can't imagine that feeling not being intoxicating, because it is, man.
Yeah, it has to be. I remember one time I was live, it was a couple of years ago, and I had a YouTuber hop into my chat, and I noticed he had a check mark. You only see that on pretty big channels on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's like 100K or more.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, you know, let me scope you out. I'll do that sometimes with my chat. I'll be like, oh, you make some content. Let me take a look. I'll look at it on stream. And this guy was like, oh, you're not gonna like it. Here it comes. I was like, oh boy. I went to his channel. It was nothing but titty clickbait. That's all it was. Just titty clickbait. That's every video. And he was like, it's just titties. He was like, but it pays my bills. He was like, I don't have to work, makes all my money. He was like, I can do whatever I want in life as long as I keep posting these videos. They make all the money. And I was just like, he was like, I know you won't respect it, but it's how it pays my bills. I was like, no, I mean, like, I don't think it's my place to say that this is wrong for you. It's just like, it's not for me. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's more about, because I could do it too. And I've got bills that I'd like to pay. And I don't even think it would, like, honestly, it's not so much that I'm so against this type of content, I would never make it. It's more about, I just have this very, very strong feeling inside that I'm supposed to be making something different. And I really want to figure that out. So I can't do this over here because what's meant for me is over here. Right. And that's all that it is. You know, I try to take the feelings out of it, but I mean, it's kind of funny reflecting now, because even just like 5 years ago, I was so much more emotional about this shit and so much more opinionated on it. And now I'm just like, now that I've seen more of the game, it's like, I'm a lot more chill about it, because I understand, like, none of it's personal. It's just the game, you know? And
it's just a game. Yeah.
There's people that play the game and there's people that get played by the game. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, which one, right. You know, so you got to choose, you know,
you got to choose. Yeah. And I think, I guess it seems as if people respect it a little more when you do try to do it the right way, versus so. You know, just going full shill and saying or doing whatever it takes to get there. I think people are a little more inclined, because and then, like you said, like, personally, do you really want that audience? Do you really want just a bunch of mindless, you know, persons who just wants to see your titties? I don't think you want that, you know? I
mean, I think another part of it is, like, younger creators very rarely seem to consider their legacy. They don't seem their legacy doesn't seem to be a big thought when it comes to the content they're making. And at the end of this road, how they'll be remembered. They don't seem to care about that. They care about the here and the now and the monies and the Instagram models and the clout. Yeah. And I get that. Like, I do, but being an older creator, being like, you know, I'm 37. So for me, like, my legacy is like, it's right at the forefront for me. Like, and I think that's why it's hard for me to overly engage in, you know, certain tactics too much. I'm not worried about being like 100% clean. Like, I don't mind using when I feel it's appropriate, when I feel like I haven't crossed the line that I'm not uncomfortable with, then I'm fine with it. Like, for instance, I put out that video on Titanfall 3. I got accused of clickbaiting on that pretty hard in some of the comments, but I felt okay with it. It was a leak that came out on Twitter of a 30-second teaser for Titanfall 3. And the reason why I covered it is because Game Ranks covered it and wrote an article on it. And I think they're a pretty respectable source of gaming news for the most part. I like Game Ranks. Yeah. So when I saw Game Ranks had put out an article on it, I did a react off stream to it because it was breaking. I wasn't going to go live for 5 minutes. So I sat down and I recorded a reaction to it. I played the teaser and the reaction. I felt comfortable doing that. And I said this in the video that I don't think it's real, but Game Ranks is sharing it. They've wrote an article on it. I just want to share it with you. So I did. I allowed the entire 30-second teaser to play because I was like, there's no way this is real. I'm not going to get hit with copyright. There's no way Respawn accidentally leaked this. So this can't be real. I'm not going to hit with the copyright. So I showed it. And then at the end, there's a black screen and it just has worldwide premiere or worldwide reveal and then a date under it. A black screen. It's crisp. Whoever made it did really well with that. I made that the thumbnail. I was like, that's the thumbnail right there. It's part of the teaser. I put it up there, made it the thumbnail, put Titanfall 3 on it, put it out. Some people didn't like the way I did that because they were like, I got excited and we're not getting it. Hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know 100%. I think that I would have been uncomfortable if I tried to push it as I believe this is a real leak. Yeah. But I didn't. Yeah. I would have felt comfortable if I made that the thumbnail and it wasn't a part of the teaser that I was reacting to. So everything in the thumbnail is in the video, except for the text I added Titanfall 3, but I wanted people that saw the thumbnail to know what game it was about. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? So I felt okay with that. I felt okay with the title because I put what I was reacting to, with a bunch of question marks at the end, because I don't know. And then in the video, I said, I found what I thought was the original Twitter post of that teaser. And it was for somebody that does graphic design, editing, and memes. So I showed that in my video. I'm like, this is why I don't think we can trust it. But I felt like that was fair. Like, I got excited when I fucking saw the shit too. And then when I realized it probably wasn't, I was mad too. But I'm not going to not cover it. Well, I don't want 3 people to get upset in the comments because, well, maybe I don't want to accidentally mislead somebody. Like, I can't constrict myself, but so much, I felt like it was fair game. I covered it. I don't regret it. I felt like I did it well enough. But it was also an experience that I'll learn from next time when I cover something like that. Will I do it the same way or not? How much will those comments affect how I feel about it? I don't know. That's something that, that just happened a couple of days ago and I'm still kind of like looking at it and analyzing it and stuff like that. But, the like ratio is really good on it. It's like a 94%, 93% like ratio. It's got like 145 likes. So, if you want to do the math. So not everybody liked it, but if you're making content that is getting a lot of views, if you're making content that's being seen by a lot of eyes, people are always going to have something to say about it. That's why it's really important for you to come to terms with how you feel about it first. So
because my initial thought is immediately is like, okay, well, I've seen way worse than that. You're just talking about an article. Like, what about the guy who's like literally like, guys, look, I got GTA 6. I'm gonna open the case. Yeah, like, come on, let's be real. Like, there's a big difference, and I think maybe I don't know if those people are being serious or not. I'm gonna be honest with you because I feel like if you're looking up Titanfall 3, you're probably around our age group. Yeah, because Titanfall when it first came out was like 360 era, right? So I don't imagine too many younger folks are looking up Titanfall 3 getting upset because an article came out. Like that sounds kind of goofy. So I think you're fine, dude. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's way worse examples, but that just shows you how much thought I put into that slight bait. You know what I'm saying? So it's like. There's a difference between a creator that is putting that much thought into it and say Sniper Wolf, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody that's, like you said, they're doing an opening for Grand Theft Auto 6 or something like that. And, like, you see shit like that all the time. Yeah. Like he did multiple videos and it's like the same thing. I'm like, you guys didn't put 2 and 2 together, but it gets millions of views. And it's like, again, it's a personal thing. Would I sleep at night knowing I made, recorded, and edited and a lie? No. That's so much effort.
Yeah.
That I just don't. I don't know. I have to sleep with myself at night.
If I really wanted to bait people, I would have just stolen the 30-second teaser and just posted that, because that would have probably done like 500K views.
Right.
You know,
and then let the comments, rein in, because like you said, they'll be the first to let everyone know this is fake, this is fake, this is fake. So yeah, but again, like you said, your legacy, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at. Like, and I said this on my last episode of my podcast. I was like, I'm kind of at the point now to where like, and maybe I don't mean to be like doom and gloom. I guess we already got there early, right? So we can get it. We crossed that threshold already. Yeah. But I was like, if something were to ever happen to me, I want people to look back and be like, this is who Yugi was, versus, this guy just, think about, like you said, think of your legacy. You don't know where you may end up tomorrow. And I wouldn't want my legacy to just be, he was a lying sellout clickbaiter who just tried to farm views. I don't think that's the best way I'd want to be remembered,
Yeah.
For the one or two people who may have watched that said podcast or said live stream or whatever the case may be, or the hundreds who did. You want to be able to leave a good legacy. It seems like you give off that impression that you kind of think of that too, though. So that's
I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I ever did do it, you know how I'd do it? I'd create another YouTube channel, no face, no association with my brand. I already know all the tricks. I would create a second YouTube channel, and I would just do it there, and I would use the revenue from that to feed Rex Sterling Live, so that I could do and I think that the people that are okay with doing it, I think they're probably doing something like that too. Like, that's obviously not like their life's work. I think they're just farming a money exploit IRL, and then probably using that to do the things they really want to do in their life. And you know what? That's fine. Because at the end of the day, I mean, nobody's being harmed, and I don't have to watch your shit content. Like, I just don't watch it, and it's fine. Yeah. That's what people on Twitter need to do more, instead of like getting into these like dumbass fucking arguments on Twitter where people that you really respect can see you acting like a dumbass. How about you just like fucking mute that person or block them? Like, just turn that shit off. Just don't look. Like, I learned that lesson the hard way. One time I got into a back and forth with somebody on Twitter, and I didn't realize that somebody I really, really respected was reading the entire thing until they messaged me later. And I was like, I never wanted you to see that side of me. Fuck. Yeah. That made me stop real quick. Yeah. Talk about learning lessons the hard way.
Yeah. Luckily, like, I always have that in the back of my mind when I get into my exchanges. So if I am arguing on Twitter, guys, I try to be as tactful as I like to tactfully destroy people. But that's a guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna lie. I have a guilty pleasure. I like arguing. Not too much, but just enough to where like it's respectable, because we're all human, and Twitter's fun in that aspect, but it can be very toxic. So I guess you got to find that balance. But
I'd rather have those arguments back and forth than the engagement farming, because at least the arguments are
there's
based
a dialogue.
On,
yeah.
Somebody really feels something and they want to talk about it. I can respect that more than just. Yeah, more than just like somebody saying, so game of the year, guys, Redfall, right? Just for easy fuck. It's just like, oh my God, man.
Yeah. There was one experience I had. This was like early in my streaming, when I started streaming, and I got into a spat with someone on Twitter, and I was just so mind blown at how like bad faith they were, that I took the bait and I went to their stream, and I'm like, hey, what's up, And they were like, oh, you're the one that was talking to me. Oh, dude, that's not really me. My manager just told me to get real crazy on Twitter so that way I can get more followers on Twitch. I'm not really like that. And I'm just like, wow. Like, it's crazy. You know how they say, like, never meet your heroes? Like, it's kind of one of those situations where, like, I actually ended up more disappointed than I will. Sometimes the truth really hurts, Yeah. Like, it's different when someone admits it. I'm just like, wow.
The good thing about that, though? The good thing about that is all of this engagement farming that's been incentivized through monetization, all of this like inauthentic, engagement farming has created a really strong market for authentic takes and creators. And I think that in a weird way, it helps us because I find there's so many fake takes and fake internet personalities out there that I feel like viewers are more and more, especially like after the lockdowns and how like, you know, communities aren't like they used to be. And, you know, you don't see people outside doing things together, like having barbecues and shit like that. People want to connect with other human beings, and more that's being done digitally. And so for me as a streamer and somebody that makes videos, I'm finding that people yearn like more and more for authentic connection to another person, even if it's through YouTube or Twitch. So I think it is creating a market where we can like really experience some growth, you know, by staying real and staying honest. You know, I think that that's there for us as well. I just think that the trick is that if that's the route that we go, we have to be a little bit more creative in ways that we monetize. Because if you're not e-begging and you're not using these like shit tactics to try and get money out of people, then you have to come with, you know, content that's good enough that people want to support it. You have to have the right personality, you know, for your community, and then you have to incentivize people to support you financially in a way that's not like scummy, you know? So it's, you know, it's a little bit harder, and you have to be a little bit more creative when you're, you know, when you're putting things together and you're trying to be authentic, I think.
Yep.
You can't really cut corners, you know?
No. Yeah, I've gotten that. So I think you're absolutely right. I think it's like one of those things where like when there's like, when you taste like I guess I don't know how else to word it outside of like, you know, you finally get a taste of like pure water and you're like, no, this water is different kind of deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, how's Rex looking for the future? I'd like to get into that. Like, where do you see yourself, you know, 1, 2, 3, 5 years from now? What's the plan if you have one? Are you kind of just taking it day by day? Are you, you know, feeling it out? Do you see yourself switching to another platform? You know, I'd love to get into that.
I think for me, I'm in the middle of like this kind of restructuring a little bit, right? Of like my content and the way that I'm doing things, where just a couple of months ago, my streams on YouTube were like OnlyFans. You know, people were donating for me to do crazy stuff on stream. I was happy to do it. I do this full time. I got, you know, I'm here in Georgia, away from family or friends or anybody that I could embarrass. I was going wild, you know, but I realized at a point that wasn't sustainable for me. I was like, I can't do this every night. Like I just can't, you know, like, and it's just like, you're almost 40. Like what the fuck? Like I just, you know, like it's, you know, like, don't get me wrong. People are willing to pay for it, and I'm not rich. You know, I need the money. I have bills to pay, you know, and I'm doing this full time. And you know, ad revenue is not like, ad revenue is crazy. It's like $1 per 1,000 views. Sometimes it's rough. So, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a really big hit by saying, hey guys, I'm not going to do that shit anymore. I'm going to start making content that I want to make, even if it makes less money now, because I need to do something that I can do every day, that I love doing every day, so that I can do it for the rest of my life if I want to. That's the kind of sustainability that I'm looking for. And that's the kind of sustainability that will make me happy. And nothing about that really involves, you know, how many people are watching me or how many people are donating or how much money I'm making. And when I only look at those numbers, when I was trying to base everything I did off of viewership and donations and things like that, I was not happy. Even when I was succeeding, even when I was getting good views and making a lot of money. I think in just in August, I made like almost $3,000 in donations in 1 month, which is really, really good. Like it's really hard to do that as a streamer. You know, when you're streaming to like 20 to 50 people, it's hard. Even when you're streaming to more than that, because you never know how much people are actually going to support, you know? But I did that by just fucking going no holds barred every stream, you know, getting drunk, doing like the doing like the hot chip challenge and shit, one chip challenge. Yo, thank you, bro. I appreciate you. My roommate brought me.
Nice.
I was like, Roddy, energy drink, bro.
What a
Appreciate
legend.
you, bro. Yeah, legend, bro.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was doing that and I was selling out. And, you know, and I remember telling my roommate, the guy just brought me this, we were talking about it because he's my boy, right? And as my boy, what he wants is to see me doing what I want to do. It's like how the chat says, play the games you want to play, do what you want to do, we'll support you no matter what. But it's like in real life and it's genuine, you know?
Yeah.
And he means it. And it's like, he saw me doing that every night and he would just tell me like, bro, like, I understand, like, I see the money you're making and I see the views and I see this, but I just don't think you're going to be happy doing this. Like, this isn't you. Like, you're basically, I mean, it's basically only like, you're just over here, like, you know, doing whatever they're willing to pay you to do. I just don't, that's not who you are. And I just don't know if you're going to be happy in the long term doing that.
Right.
And I was just so focused on my bills and, you know, my rent and stuff. You know, my rent in the studio is $1,200 a month. And so I was like, you know, I needed to make at least $1,500 a month just to not go into the red. You know what I mean? And so like the amount of pressure I was feeling to, you know, cause the last thing, I really don't want to go back to a part-time job or anything like that. I really don't want to I don't want to have to do it. I will if I have to, but that's the real thing I'm fighting against. I'm really fighting to stay independent, you know? Yeah. So I was willing to do, but you know, I kept catching bans. I kept, you know, getting demonetized, and eventually, you know, one day I got so sick of it and I was so unhappy with it. I thought to myself, instead of getting rid of the content that I really want to make or the things that I really want to do, what if I just got rid of needing all this fucking money? So soon I'm going to be moving back to North Carolina and moving in with my mother. And me and my mother, my parents got divorced when I was 8. And my father and that side of the family kept me from my mom for 25 years. So from the time I was 8 till I was 33, I had no relationship with my mom whatsoever. We just reconnected in the last couple of years. She lives in North Carolina, and I told her she lives by herself, and she's lonely, but she's cool, and I love her to death. And I was like, you know what? I think when my rent is done here, instead of like renewing it or whatever, I said, I think I'm just gonna let this go, you know, and I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna stay with you, and I'm gonna help you out. And, you know, buy groceries, pay her internet, you know, help her out with her car, whatever I can do for her, build that relationship with her that I missed out on when I was younger. And I won't have the $1,200 rent over my head anymore. Right. And I think that by getting rid of that looming over me every day, I can afford to take the kind of hit that I'm going to take by switching up my content. And I've started doing that, and I'm happier with it. I'm not generating the numbers that I was generating 2 months ago, but I knew I wasn't. And I think that, like, as far as where I'm going with it, like what my end goal is, where I want to be, you know, a couple of years from now, I probably see myself making bigger videos on YouTube. Like, I would eventually like to do like some video essays, but those are, you know, you're talking about like a, you know, a 15-20 minute essay. Like, I want to do an essay on my love-hate relationship with Final Fantasy 13. You familiar with that game at all? I am. Super hated in the Final Fantasy community. You know, Final Fantasy is this juggernaut. They come out with this super linear, just cringe voice acting, just so many problems with this fucking game, and I couldn't put it down, bro.
That's the one with lightning, right?
With lightning. And I couldn't put it down for some reason, bro. I played it all the way to the end. I couldn't stop. And I've never understood that. And I've always thought it would be great to make a video about my love-hate relationship with that game, trying to understand, like, what was it about that game? Because I understand everything I didn't like about it. What was it that I liked about it so much I couldn't put it down? Like, what was it about that game? I think that would be like actually unironically interesting, provocative content to make if it's well produced. You know, if it's well produced and put out, I think that would be a really interesting video. But that's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time that I have to figure out how to filter that into my streaming. But I think the goal is to get to a point where I can go live on Twitch and I can play, you know, through, like, my backlog is crazy right now. I'm sure everybody's who's a gamer right now. I'd like to go live, and I'd like to do basically let's plays of games that I love. I'd love to do Yakuza Like a Dragon, Persona 5, Metal Gear Solid, you know, Silent Hill, Resident Evil. I'd love to just play these fucking games and beat them. I've owned them for so long, and I can never play them because I know if I start up a single player narrative driven game, it's going to do poorly, because what's going to happen is the first stream might do good, but anybody that missed it is not going to come for the rest of them, because they're not going to hop in the middle of a game and they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's why
they want to see it from the
multiplayer,
beginning. Yeah.
that's why multiplayer is so popular and does so much better. It's so much easier for the viewer to come right in. If you're playing Rocket League and somebody comes right into your stream, not knowing you, they can see Rocket League and they know exactly, oh, get ball and goal, got you, and they're right with it. You know, that's why multiplayer is so popular. But I love single player games. I love stories. I love connecting with characters. I love being that guy that, like, if a character dies unexpectedly in a game, I'm fucking destroyed. You know, like, I want to be invested like that. Yeah. So I want to play these games and make provocative content about them because I love them. Like, I genuinely am a gamer. Like, I love video games. I love talking about them.
Yeah.
I want to play them on Twitch, and then I want to make, you know, interesting videos from that on YouTube, even if it's like uploading my VOD. So I have like a VOD channel on YouTube, maybe, which that's not provocative enough for me to do right now, but maybe later I could do it. And then, you know, just talking about things that are interesting. Like, I do react content, not for easy views, but I love talking about those subjects, relationships, men and women, you know, how social media affects the way that we interact with each other. That shit is so interesting to me. I could talk about it all fucking day. So that's why I react to it, because reacting to that content gives me a platform to talk about it on top of, instead of seeming like a preacher who's just on camera like this talking to my audience like I'm telling you how you should feel about it. When I react to a piece of content, I'm looking at how somebody else felt about it, giving my own takes, and trying to let my audience do the same so that we can like have this very interesting dialogue. So ultimately, I mean, you want to get to the point where you're making content for yourself, right? Where you love the content you're making.
Yeah.
That's what
that
I'm working
seems
towards.
to be the consensus from creators that I've spoken to who are doing very, very well, all the way down to, like, you know, the ones that are just starting. The consensus and the best advice I've seen, especially from the successful one, is you got to do what you enjoy, because they're going to be able to read right through that. They're going to read right through it. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, they're going to be like, he's not even checked in, like, you know what I mean? So and unless you got like a really young audience, they won't pick up on those social cues. But if you're like middle, late teens, adults, they're gonna be like, yeah, he ain't about it.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you, like, you know, gone into a stream or seen a video and you did not even care at all about the game that was being played, but the person playing it was just having so much fun with it.
Yeah.
You could see, you know, there's still a hook there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I watch Asmongold's content, and I know I've mentioned him a couple of times, but I watch his content. I don't give a shit about WoW. God, I don't fucking care. You know, I don't give a shit about what's he playing now, Lords of the Fallen. I don't give a fuck about Lords of the Fallen, but I'll still watch from time to time. And being my own creator, I don't really have the time to watch content as much. Like, YouTube videos are easier, right? You can start and stop. Live streams are really hard for me to go and show support as much as I want to. But yeah, I mean, like, what, you know, if I can connect with a creator, like, I don't necessarily have to give a shit about the game they're playing if I care about what they think and how they, you know, if the way that they talk speaks to me. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like I said, it goes back to, I think people want to connect. I think people want to connect with other people. And I think the internet is probably the safest, most convenient way for people to do it. You know, it's just, you've also got people out here that are going to try to take advantage of that are like, oh, you know, I know how lonely it is. It's so hard being a man right now, bro. Just, you know, for $25 a month, I'll teach you how to get some pussy. It's just like, you see that shit all the time.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's another example of what we were talking about earlier. Like, somebody like Andrew Tate there, you know, he would just say stuff that, like, wasn't there's a word for it, but
inflammatory.
Inflammatory, that's the word. He was saying inflammatory stuff, and then now it's like, oh, all of a sudden he's not running his trap as heavy, or he may, you know, now he's talking about choosing his word. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just saying that kind of relates to, like, earlier where people were saying, like, a lot of people purposely say inflammatory things just for, you know, heightened viewership. And like you said, you know, yeah, let me help you get these chicks for 25 a month. That's funny, man.
Yeah, and it's like I get it. Like at the end of the day, like I don't know him, so I don't judge him as a person or whatever. You know, like I don't fucking know. I don't have time to worry about Andrew Tate. You know, I'm worried about Rex Sterling right now.
Right,
you know?
right.
I think like, you know, my only thought is when I look at someone like Andrew Tate, I fucking despise that motherfucker sometimes. And the reason why is because I'm so passionate about what he claims to be passionate about, which is like young men and what they're going through. And I see what he's doing as a very inauthentic way of addressing the problems that young men are going through. And I see it as a very like, I see him more as taking advantage of the situation. Like he's no different than an OnlyFans model who's just like farming simps for money. But it's more insulting to me. Like an OnlyFans model doing that doesn't really bother me. It's the game. But with him, it's like when you're in their face saying, I care about you, like men's mental health and, you know, the way men are being fucking treated and like, but then you're fucking doing it too, running your cam website and paying girls to do the same shit to them that you then go on your little podcast and shit on. Like, fuck you, bro. Like, I don't like that shit. I just don't like it. Again, I understand it's a game. And I'm not saying that he's never said anything that wasn't based. He's had plenty of moments where he said something that was true. You know, that's what makes his content provocative. Like you can throw all the bravado up there and you can throw all of the like inflammatory stuff, but you throw in just, you know, one nugget of truth in there about like, you know, the double standards with, you know, in dating right now with men and women, how men are expected to provide, but women don't want to see them make more money. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, so you throw in a little bit of something real to talk about and then put that spin on it to generate that revenue. I just don't like that because I come at it from the other side where it's something I'm passionate about too, but I want to help these fucking kids. And you are just, how much fucking money do you need, bro?
Right.
You know what I mean? At what point is it enough that you can like stop that shit and actually like give them some real genuine advice that's going to help them instead of having them out here like they were on Sneako's fucking stream saying fuck women and shit like that. Like, when are you going to stop adding to the fire and start helping me put it out, motherfucker?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's just how I feel when I see content like that. And, you know, I understand that that's not how everybody sees it. That's not how everybody feels about it. And that's not going to be everybody's take. And I'm okay with that. I don't expect other people to see it through my lens, but I can't see it that way through my lens and then act any different. You know what I'm saying? Like that's dishonest to me.
Yeah, so, fair.
You know?
Yeah, I hear you 100%. Like, yeah, it's a shame that because the way it came off, especially when you found out how much he was charging for like, you know, the subscription service to his
it's like his
the
website,
war room, whatever they call it, his website.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like the whole thing was just marketing now.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks because he may have helped some people. And I've seen those people kind of go to his Twitter with no response, mind you, saying, hey, man, I'm saving up so I can join. I need the help. And it's like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Then the real truth comes out. Then the layers get peeled back and you start to see like, this guy ain't really standing for what he's claiming. Like you said, you know, running a whole ring and openly talking about it, blatantly talking about it. Yeah, I get the girls to fall in love with me and then I have them work for me. You know, you work for me now, bitch. Like that's not what to me, a man doesn't act like that towards women, you know? A man doesn't talk to a woman like she's literally property. Like, I'm sorry, like, say what you want, like, in 90% of, at least in our society functioning, right, women aren't attracted to someone who's going to talk to them like that. You know what I mean? The amount of money, like, and that's what I said in my take on Andrew Tate a long time ago. I made it a members only video because I was kind of worried. I'm not going to lie. Now I don't care. You know, bring the smoke. It's fine. But, you know, at the time I was like, how much amount of money does it take for me to disrespect you, Rex?
What?
Like, what's the price tag I would get? What would it take for me to disrespect you? How much money? Like, let's say, hold on, let me give you a better scenario. Let's say you're with a partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever it is. And they don't want you to do anything except for what they tell you to do. How much money do they have to provide for you to live that way?
You already know my answer, dog. There ain't no fucking amount of money.
That's what I'm saying. And that's how he's wording it. And it's so dismissive and so like one-sided. Because his take is, well, I make all this money so I could just do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just talk about women however you want, do with them however you want because you make money. And is that a genuine relationship?
To be fair, I don't think he actually acts that way with them in private, you know, off camera.
Exactly. So this is like, yeah.
Again, we're talking about farming. You know, he's farming. Yeah. He's farming like I think that it's part of his business model that he has to talk that way about women because, you know, young men will see that and be like, wow, like I can't believe that he can be such an open asshole to like the most beautiful women I've ever seen and they still love him. Like, holy shit, you know, like it blows their minds. They don't understand that those girls are on his payroll,
right?
You know, all the world is a stage, you know.
100%. 100%.
You know, like I said, it's just the problem that I have with it is that the content is taking advantage of, like, I do think that at least in United States, in American culture right now, I do think young men, and it's statistically proven because I've been reacting to a lot of this lately, but it's like, yeah, young men are struggling really bad. Like with suicide, their suicide rate is crazy high. Yeah. Depression rates, the amount of them that are on antidepressants and taking medication is through the roof. Less of them are going to college. Less of them are actively seeking relationships because they feel like there's no point in it. They feel like women aren't worth it. They have all these people in their heads. It's a real problem, and it creates problems for fucking everybody. Like, you know, the same women that are taking advantage of these lonely men, getting them to pay for nudes and shit like that, then wonder why when they go out, they keep running into so many creeps. You're fucking helping raise them. Like, what are you doing? You're feeding the problem that you're complaining. What happened to real men? Why are all these simps out here? Bitch, what do you mean? That's your whole business model, is creating simps and getting money from them. So, like, of course, that's what you keep running into. Like you can't have, like, I miss real men. Why don't men approach us anymore? You know why? Because you keep fucking going on Twitter and posting screenshots or videos of us at the gym and shit. Like, it's fucking with people. It's fucking with people. And, like, people IRL are not really like this. But I think the problem is there's more people looking at Twitter and social media, Facebook and stuff like that. They're looking at that more than they're in supermarkets around real people. They're in their phone more than they're around real people interacting with them. I think there's people that honestly believe that, like, if I was in the gym and I saw a girl recording herself while she's working out, my mind would never go to, she's making a TikTok about me, right? Because, like, I know IRL, 90% of girls that are doing that right now, they're not like that. It's just a couple of fucking assholes on TikTok and their shit blows up, you know, whatever. But there's people that don't see, like, when everything they see IRL, their brain goes to, what would this be on Twitter? What would this be on TikTok? Yeah. And so they are looking at the real world through the online lens and judging people that way. And so it's just really fucking with people, and it's creating more problems. And so it's like, it's in our best interest to genuinely address this problem, especially like with young men in our society, with everybody for sure. But like, they're like doing the worst. So like, maybe we could look at them like first. Right. And it's in our best interest because so many of the problems about how, like, you know, men aren't good leaders anymore. You know, men don't know how to, you know, take care of families. They don't know how to raise children. You know, they're more childish. They're simping. They're, you know, more like all this other stuff. Like, it does create real problems in the real world for women, for like really attractive women when they're out, you know, at bars and clubs. Like, I see it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I said this in a reaction recently. I said the problem with it is there's too many people making money off of this problem for them to solve it. It's like curing cancer. Like, the money's in the treatment, not in the cure. Yeah. You know, you don't, or think about Game Pass. They don't want to sell you a video game anymore. They want you on a subscription now.
Yeah.
we need you on this cancer subscription where you're paying for these treatments the rest of your life. Why would we sell you like a shot even if one existed? Like, the fuck? And this is the same problem with like mental health. It's like, well, we could like provide resources for them that could help them, but like, you got all these dating apps, you got all these like Andrew Tates, you got all these influencers, you've got all these OnlyFans models. The moment you start really trying to help young men, you're going to see an incredible backlash. And you already see that because anytime somebody goes on Twitter, and because I see Shoe on Head do this a lot, she's a content creator that makes a lot of content about like feminism, and it's like, you know, it's more like hot takes and controversial stuff and gets a little political and blah 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 blah. So people have strong feelings about her the same way they might have strong feelings about Jordan Peterson or Ben Shapiro or, you know, anybody else who's in that space making that type of content, right? But she made content recently about like men's mental health and how it's affecting them in relationships and how it's affecting them like with depression and stuff. She got turned on so quick. Even in her own audience, she had people like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, nobody wants to hear about these men's problems. And it was like, OnlyFans model, OnlyFans model, OnlyFans model. Like, bitch, shut up. We can't be, that's my money. That's my money you're fucking with. Yeah. There's too many. And it's the same thing. You look at eHarmony, look at Match.com, look at Tinder. It's not just women, it's women. It's men. Look at Andrew Tate and guys like that. And then influencers, like male influencers, the same ones that everybody's like idolizing because they're, you know, they're making content, and some of it is genuine, but they are also getting rich off of it. And it's like, who's doing it for real and who's not? I don't know. You know, you have to look into it a little bit deeper, but like, there's so many people and companies making money off of like mental health issues that men between like 18 and 30 are dealing with. I'm passionate about that. Yeah. So I'm not ever going to take money from them. You know, I'll take my ad revenue from YouTube, sure, but I try to talk to them as much as I can because they're going through it and it's in all of our best interest. Like, if they were healthier and doing better, you would see better families. You would see healthier families. Schools would be safer. You would see women would feel safer. And you would have like, just, we could stop focusing so much on all this negative content. You would see content online start to be more positive because we don't always have to talk about the same bullshit, and you can't farm them anymore. So you would see, I just think it would help everybody. Yeah. So I don't know. That's the reason why I'm so passionate about it. That's why when I see people that are farming it for money, like, I get it, but at the same time, it just bothers me because you're just making this problem worse and it affects all of us.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy to think the way you worded that. Like, so I met my wife actually online, right? And this was at a time before OnlyFans was like really big, before any of that stuff was really big. So, you know, looking at myself, and we came in with the best intentions, so that's how we met and that's how we got married. But I can't imagine being a young lad matching with a chick now who's clearly just doing it as a marketing for her OnlyFans, for example. My young mind wouldn't be able to process that, and I'd probably fall for the bait too. And then before you know it, I find out the whole thing was a lie, and then I become bitter. Absolutely, I could see myself becoming that way too. Yeah,
and 100%. Then your own Sneeko stream talking about foot bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
like, that's
absolutely.
How it fucking happens.
Because we've all been through heartache. It's almost like a natural thing of life, right? It's like you know, when you get your first injury at doing sports, or you're you know, everyone's been through some sort of heartbreak, right? And, you know, and not, except for the people watching this, you're all perfect and know exactly what to say to the women and the guys, you know. But for the majority of us, you know, most people, I'm joking, by the way, guys. You know, some people they go through that heartache, and it shapes you for better or worse. So I feel like if I was like that, and if I was young now, yeah, I can't imagine it. And I say that all the time to the people that are single. Like, I don't envy you guys, man. It's so inflammatory out there that, like, how do you even weed out, you know, all the noise? I don't know. But yeah, you're doing the right thing.
Especially, like, you know, you look at the economy right now and how hard it is for parents to provide for a family, even in a 2-income household. So what does that lead to? Well, it leads to a bigger absence in the life of their children. They're not there as much. They're not able to interact with them as much. They're tired. They're working. And what is with that child all day, every day? Their fucking phone and fucking Twitter and Facebook and all this other bullshit. And it's like, of course they think that, you know, it's just like it doesn't even like, it's so easy to go to OnlyFans, right? But like let's take it in an entirely other direction, because I don't want anybody to feel like, I don't care if a woman does OnlyFans. I would date a girl that did OnlyFans. I got no problem with it. I'd probably do OnlyFans with her. Like, I got no problem with that myself personally. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to, it's the same thing we were talking about with the clickbait with YouTube. There still has to be some degree of fucking ethics somewhere. You know what I mean? And my issue is, look at it from the other perspective of how it affects men. I can't even give a girl a fucking compliment without being called a simp now. Like, simping is all the way down to, you said something nice to a girl. I can never talk about a girl's looks. I can never compliment a girl. There's female streamers that I interact with on Twitter. I don't know them personally. Maybe we follow each other. Some of them are way bigger than I am, but you know, we interact a little bit. And every time they post a picture or something and I say something nice about it, or they post something and I put a meme up there, my people are like, I see you simping for her on Twitter. And I'm like, bro, it's not simping. It's
just a conversation.
Can't even be fucking nice. And it makes everything so fucking awkward. Now, one reason why younger men are not even, trying to find a relationship is they don't even know how to approach a girl without being an asshole, because, well, if I'm not an asshole on my approach, I just look like a simp. And then you have girls that fall into that too. And so what are they dating? Assholes. Everybody's just getting hurt by this. Like, we allow this mentality to, it's a very pervasive mentality that we're allowing to be prevalent because people are making money off of it. And it's like, it's just like the engagement farming on Twitter. It's like, when are we going to say, that the money's not worth it? Like, at what point are we going to say it's just more important that people are healthy than the money we're making off of this right now? Like, we can find other ways to make content. Like, people have been making money forever, bro. We don't need, the engagement farming, clickbait. We don't need that to be successful. If you want it, motherfucker, you will find a way to do it. But when so many people are benefiting off of something that's negative, it's just hard to watch, because it's like, nothing's going to be done about it while all this money is flowing, but it's creating problems in society that are palpable, that you can see, and like I said, I like to think that my audience is somewhat mature. We have conversations like this on stream a lot, but then the second I call it, it's like, you ever see like a girl post a selfie on Twitter and it's just a pretty girl posting a picture of herself, and then like half the comments are dudes going up there mid, and it's just troll accounts and shit like that. Mid.
I can't stand that. Because they don't know what they're doing. They really don't understand what they're doing.
The way it affects her, the way it affects men, and it's like, of course women have this perception of us that we're all just fucking like monsters, or we're all just like misogynistic pieces of shit. Like, they probably do think that.
Didn't they say that? Wasn't that a big thing on Twitter? They were calling Margot Robbie mid. I was like, we're done. We're done. I was like, we're screwed. I was like, we're so screwed as a society. This is where we're at, man. Like, everything is just, And it's like, they're not saying it genuinely. They're saying it to be either inflammatory, or they just want to be cool or something. Like, it's edgy. Cool to just to be edgy. Right. And it's like, that's not fair. Like, no one would say that. Me growing up, right, I've been around so many, like, because I'm Hispanic, so many different Hispanic type of women. It was so natural for me to just say, whether inside or outside the family, you look lovely today, you look beautiful today, amazing outfit, love the way it felt, and then you move on. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't like a like, oh, there wasn't no indications of I was interested. It was just lovely dress tonight, good to see you, all right, I'm gonna go hang out with such and such now. That was it. And it's like, you can't, like you said, like, I can't imagine in real life back then, during that time, seeing that woman come up to me in that, that party, whatever, and just saying, you look mid. Are you insane? Are you insane? That word wouldn't even come out of my mouth. Like, we just lost basic manners. Even we even used to like kind of lie, like, no, you look great in that dress. I probably didn't. But it was like an unwritten rule that you didn't want to hurt a woman's feelings. You didn't want to make them feel bad and cry, because then you look like the asshole. Like, where did that go? Where did we lose that, like, that inherent, like, thing in the back of your head that says, like, let's not be mean to, fellow men or fellow women? Like, I don't know, man. It's a shame, Seeing that really bothers me, too. I'm with you there.
That's why another piece of like provocative content on YouTube right now that a lot of people watch is like attractive women. Their male friends will get them to create a Tinder profile as a guy. He can even be an attractive guy, and it's like, try Tinder as a guy. Get ready.
Yeah.
And it's like every single time they're like, this is how girls treat you. It's like, yeah, this is how they fuck. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like, it happens when the conversation becomes too one-sided, because we're very quick to talk about things men do wrong. And I mean, we should be. But, you know, in our society, it's a little bit less that we talk about what women do wrong. And, you know, you put the stigma, you take the stigma of like Andrew Tate. That's another problem with that. It's like, now if I critique something that's going on in our culture with women, I look like him to people. They just see like, oh, they just see Andrew Tate. And so it's like, it's hard to have a genuine fucking conversation.
Yeah.
Because they immediately get defensive or they immediately attack.
Yeah. Because it's not abstract anymore. Now there's like a face to it.
Yeah.
So that's all they see. Yeah. That's true. It's almost like when you're dating someone who's been through like a lot of bad breakups, and then you show just an inkling of the quality that caused that breakup, and it's like, you're that person now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. And then vice versa, right? If you're a guy and you see a woman talking about, I don't know, feminism, you just attach, you know, the worst case example. And it's like, yeah, we lost our sense of like nuance and understanding everybody's so different, yeah.
I remember it was like maybe about 8 years ago. I can't remember who I was talking to, but I said, yeah, I think the downfall of society is going to be when I start seeing people out in public acting the way that I see people act on Twitter. It's over.
Yeah. And dude, it's crazy. I've seen that. I've seen that, and I know it's happening. I'm just like, crap. It's too late. It's already too late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, you'll say, like, this is a big thing on Twitter. You'll say something that's like clear as day, right? You know, whatever. I don't know. Happy birthday, Rex Sterling. The comment right under it. So what? You don't care about my birthday?
Yeah.
Like,
I love waffles. What do you have against pancakes? Right.
And I see that happening in real life, and it's like, wow, we've lost our ability to communicate now. We're screwed. We can't even have a conversation. That's not good. It's not good. So, but we'll try our best. I don't know. We'll see. I think the pendulum will swing back. That's what most people seem to feel, and I think it is kind of slowly.
I think it is too.
Yeah, slowly getting back. Now that the Tate wave is kind of dying down, and he seems to be like settling more. He's not like constantly in your face like he used to, because he was freaking everywhere. Holy crap. It was like impossible to avoid him. And now that that's down, I think people are kind of like rethinking maybe some of the stuff they saw. So hopefully we can reel it in. But yeah, we'll see. Anything you're working on before we close out? Because we're running on almost 3. And I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you spending so much time with us, though. This is awesome. But
oh yeah, I'm sorry for all the rambling. I run my mouth a lot, bro.
this is a podcast. That's what we want. That's what we want. And for the folks that listen back, thanks for hanging out with us for this long. This is Rex Sterling, content creator, streamer, having a nice conversation with us, talking about some of his past. So definitely, if you're listening back, thank you for listening this far. But yeah, any future projects you're looking forward to, man? Anything you want to announce? Anything you're working on? What's your plans? What can people look forward to from Rex?
Well, you know, I think one thing, you know, obviously the move coming up is going to be really big for me. Going back to North Carolina, you know, reconnecting with my family, you know, building a new studio there. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being able to, you know, change my content up a little bit. I think the next I think what you're going to see from me content wise on YouTube, you're going to see a lot more of these kinds of discussions. I'm going to continue doing reacts again because, you know, I'm sure you can tell I love having these kinds of conversations. Yeah. So I'm going to continue to have these conversations. I may at some point, I've thought about starting like a vlog channel or something similar to that, where I can just do this myself on camera, like in my car or something like that. Because I like those types of videos too. I like doing stuff like that. So I don't know if I will. I'm still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to continue to have these conversations on my channel, Rex Sterling Live on YouTube. And I'm going to continue to be live on Twitch, hanging out with friends, playing games with friends, doing some reacts over there, making some live content, and really just continue to try to increase my skills, and become a better video editor, become a better producer, work on, just growth and trying to do better. I think when you're at the size that I'm at right now, where like right now on YouTube, I have about 5,000 subscribers. And then on Twitch, I have about like 400 followers, something like that. When you're at that size, it's like you can't really afford to. The future is such a mystery, because it's like there's this huge mountain in front of you, and you don't know what's on the other side, and you're never gonna find out if you don't climb that mountain. So that's where I'm at, man. I'm still climbing that mountain. So I just hope that, if anybody, hears this and they're interested in any of the conversations that we've had, if they're interested in the subjects that we've had talked about, today, that's the kind of stuff that I'll be talking about, content that I'll be making. And I hope people will be willing to just check it out, give it a listen, give their own thoughts. I'm just looking to connect with people myself, I want to be a part of that pendulum swinging back the other way. So I'm going to continue to make videos and talk about, these issues in society that I think are interesting. Try to do it in a fun way. I try not to do it in like a super serious way. I try to laugh a lot. I try to joke about it a lot, because I don't think it's fun for the viewer when it's like so grim and serious,
Yeah.
But it's something that's on my mind all the time, and it's something that I want to be at the forefront of my content, because I want people to know that I care. Really, I just want people to know I care about them. Like, I care about the people around me. I care about people in my community. When I go to like a Walmart, or I go to like a drugstore or a grocery store or out in the park, I see all these people and I don't talk to them because I don't want to be like fucking weird, like I don't know who they are, but I care about them. I care about people around me. And I think that content creation gives me a way to kind of express that love that I have for people around me, in a way that's maybe appropriate.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
so
you don't
continue to do that.
You don't do that in the Walmart, right? You don't walk up to someone and say, "Hey, man, what do you think about the state of men?" Yeah, you don't do that. But
what's your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
Oh God, yo, that was a big thing when I was first streaming. People would come up and I'd be like, I don't know how to answer that. I got asked it so much I had to make it a video. It's just, that's how crazy the wave was. Yeah, but yeah, man, we appreciate it. This was enlightening. I think your heart's in the right place, and we appreciate you sharing that. Guys, I definitely got to put your Twitch in the description as well for those of you who watch this back and you want to catch him live. I think you seem more than open to communicating, so we appreciate that. This was enlightening. This was awesome. I love your passion. I love your story. And I hope to have you on some more, at least have another conversation with you, because I think people need to hear more of this type of stuff. I think you were the first person off the top of my head outside of like my cousin who actually went there. So I appreciate that, because it's an intimidating subject that I feel like a lot of people may not even feel confident enough to speak about, because it's easier to just go with the grain, right? Mm-hmm. It's easier for me to just come on here and be like, yeah, he was right, and then move on, right? But
you gotta you gotta have thick skin before you step into the fire. You know what I mean? And it is, and that's a little dramatic, but it's a shitstorm when you get into some of these subjects online. And if you're not knowledgeable about what you're talking about, people will eat you alive. I'm sure that there's people that will, pick things apart that I've said here, but like I said, I don't see that as a bad thing anymore. There's too many people that have argued with me or corrected me or even attacked me for something I said in a stream or something I said live. And I learned something from it, and I thought it was interesting. Like, maybe they were personally attached to it. Like, they might have been being like really rude about it.
Right.
But I don't fucking care. You're nobody to me. You're just a name on Twitter to me. I don't care anymore. I don't, I've been able to, I think one last thing I would say for content creators, it's really important for you. One piece of advice I would give you: separate yourself from your online persona and your content. Separate your personal self from who you are as a content creator or an entertainer. Don't think of yourself, or do what you think is best, but I don't even think of myself as a human being when I'm streaming or when I'm making YouTube videos. I think of myself as like a commodity. I'm like a persona. I'm like I'm an entertainer. I'm here. It's if I do well, great. If I bomb, great. It's not even me really. I'm pixels on a screen. I try to do everything I can mentally to separate myself from it so that I don't take the attacks and the criticism personally, and instead I can just look at it for what it is, and I can grow from it, learn from it, because if you feel strongly about the criticism you receive one way or the other, it's great. Like if somebody attacks me for something that I say or something that I believe, I'm like my Titanfall 3 video where a bunch of people attacked me saying that was clickbait. I thought about it, and when I disagreed with them, I just felt more confident in myself. I was like, no, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Or maybe I start to, see their side of it and I learn from it the other way and then I adjust. But either way, I either grow firmer and more confident in what I'm doing and I resist, or, I give in and I grow, another way, and I start to adjust my content because maybe I did this wrong. Maybe I should try it this way. Either way, I think you learn from it, but I don't think you're going to be able to learn from it if you're taking it personally. It's really important to remember that these people that are attacking you or criticizing you, they don't even know your real name. Even if you use your real first name, they don't know your last name. They don't know your story. They don't know who you are. They've never had an IRL conversation with you. They are only criticizing or attacking a persona that they saw on the internet. And just keep that in mind, for your own mental health.
Yeah. Their own impression of you that you didn't even get to sit down and hash out anyway. But I think giving them the benefit of the doubt, and this is on any side of the spectrum or where you stand with the conversations that we just had, I think we can all agree that the best part of it is that you're thinking for yourself. I think that's the most important thing. Despite, what anyone may say, it seems, and that's the impression that I got out of you. You're thinking for yourself. You're making your own decisions. You're making your own conclusions. And I can appreciate that about absolutely anybody, whether I agree or disagree with them, So thank you for that. Seriously.
Yeah.
This was awesome. How do you feel about viewer questions? Because I know it's getting late. I don't know if you got to
if there's any, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, I know there was one earlier. By the way, guys, like I said, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, I try not to focus too much on chat when we're doing this because I want to give the guests my full attention. If you're looking or you're interested in dropping a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat. Rex, if you got some on yours that you want to highlight, let it rip at any time. Stop me at any moment. But I saw that there was like maybe one or two, so feel free. You want to drop it in my chat, I'll go ahead and pull it up for Rex and we can have him answer it for anyone who's itching to ask a question, because I know there was one. Let's see if I could find it. It was a little earlier. Here we go. It was Queen of Love and Positivity. What a name, huh? She asked you, can you ask him about what do you do if you get blocked from streams and trolls from streams? If you blocked from, I'm not sure. Do you mean like, you mind clarifying? Do you mean like if you get blocked or you block people? Because I don't know if I'm reading this right or wrong. Let me try one more time. You ask him about what do you do if you get blocked from streams and trolls from streams. So I guess if you get blocked yourself, how do you feel about that? If I get blocked, yeah. I mean, because me personally, I'm gonna be like, okay, you did me a favor, but
so if a streamer blocks me,
that's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
I've never had a situation like that. If I go into a streamer's chat and I feel like me and that streamer would not get along, coming up in pro wrestling where everything is about like professionalism, because somebody could drop you on your head, like they could literally kill you in the ring and say it was an accident, a move went wrong. Wow. There's, so professionalism is so important, and that's not a professional environment. So I don't necessarily need to be in an office or see somebody in a suit to look at them as a professional peer. I look at all streamers that way, as a professional peer. So I don't go into anyone's stream and try and cause any problems. And if I feel like me and a particular streamer wouldn't get along, I normally will just watch and not chat. If I see, there's been like maybe one or two times where a streamer took something I chatted the wrong way, and I started to see them like they were maybe being a little confrontational or being a little rude or whatever, I just leave. Like, I've never been blocked before. If somebody did block me, if I cared, I would maybe try to reach out to them privately on social media. Just, just as another streamer, just, hey, I don't know what happened or whatever. Try to talk to them about it privately. That's if I cared about the situation enough. If I didn't, I'd just let it go. But I just try not to create problems in anybody else's stream, because I've dealt with it enough myself. I know how frustrating it could be. I don't know them, so I've never really had that issue. As far as like trolls, just ban them immediately. Yeah. That's my recommendation to any streamer. If you have somebody that comes in and is trolling you in a way that's making you feel uncomfortable, just ban that motherfucker. I don't even worry about a timeout. I don't try to have a talk with them. The more attention you give them, the more trolls you're going to get. Ban them immediately. Fuck them.
Yeah. I heard keeping them around is just detrimental. It's like a weed.
Yeah.
You gotta cut it out early before, because it'll actually hurt your community rather than help it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the main one I got. I don't know if anyone has anything else or on your end. I do have my own that I could ask you. That was like a little bit of a rapid fire, and it was gonna be favorite video game, but I don't know if that's a hard one for you, because I feel like we related on a lot. But if you could pick one.
Probably Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars on Super Nintendo.
Oh, baby. Nice.
So that came out in, I think, like 95 or 96. I was 10 years old, and it was the first video game I ever stayed up all night. It was right after the divorce between my dad and my mom, and my sister went to go live with my mom, and I was with my dad, and it was the first time me and my dad ever stayed up all night until the sun came up the next day, which when you're like 9 years old, 10 years old, that's like a big deal. Like, oh my God, like I can't believe they let me stay up, stayed up all night until the sun came up the next day playing Super Mario RPG. I mean, we grinded it, like me and my dad, like 10, 11 hours straight, 12 maybe, like just grinding it together. And I just fell in love with that game so much. And I think that, like, I liked video games from the moment that I experienced them, because Mario Duck Hunt, when I first, that was my first experience on NES, or NES, but I always said NES. I still say SNES. Yeah. Some people say SNES, but it was like, I think I just have the most nostalgia for that game. It takes me back to, being 9, 10 years old, just the innocence of it. Like, yeah, it's just, I don't think that there's any game that means as much to me as that game does. And I mean, it helps that it's an excellent JRPG, an amazing turn-based game with a great story and just an unbelievable soundtrack. It's such a great game, but the nostalgia is what sends it like over the line for me. That's probably my, if I had to pick one, it would be that.
Outstanding. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the remake of Super Mario RPG. So
that's something that I am doing a full playthrough of that, probably on YouTube. I think I'll probably do that playthrough on YouTube, because I don't think it's going to do great on Twitch. And I think that I'm going to want the VODs. Like, I'm going to want to. So I'm doing that. I don't care if it's to no viewers. I'm 100% doing that when it comes out.
Just for the principle.
For me.
Yeah. I feel that 100%. I like it. Gamer Nurse Gale asks, considering what you've mentioned about single player games getting less views than multiplayer games, would it be better for me to stick with uploading videos or mix it with live streams?
Well, if that's what you want to do, like, I'm assuming that they're asking this question because that's what they want to do. They want to play single player games and they want to make content out of single player games. Content creators will tell you that Let's Plays on YouTube are dead, and I kind of agree. When I upload VODs of me doing, that's why, like, for instance, Super Mario RPG, I could stream that on Twitch and then just upload the VOD to YouTube to nobody. Like, why the fuck? Like, nobody's watching that shit anymore unless you're already like famous or you've already got like clout. You've got a large following. It's super hard to succeed with Let's Plays if you're doing it trying to grow, right? What I would recommend to anybody that wants to do that. Okay, let's just say, let's take Super Mario RPG because we were just talking about it. It releases on November 17th, right? So what I'm going to do, and what I would suggest anybody else does, is every little thing that comes out about that, every press release, every like trailer, every little video that Square puts out or Nintendo puts out, I react to it on my live stream, and then I make that into a YouTube video, and I upload the YouTube video on it. And what I'm trying to do is I am trying to get myself into the algorithm for that game on YouTube before it drops, so that YouTube will push my Super Mario RPG videos to Super Mario RPG fans on YouTube, and they can start subscribing to me now. And I'm basically prepping my community for a content run on. I'm doing a content run on this game. That's what I call it, a content run. I'm doing a content run on this game, and I start it as soon as, you know, the trailer comes out and we start getting like within like say a couple of months of release. I'm putting out as many reactions as I can. If I have a think piece I want to do, record a video talking about my favorite character in the game, whatever I can do to put out more videos on Super Mario RPG, so that YouTube is understanding that I am making this content. There's obviously people that are searching for this content, looking it up on YouTube. The more videos I make on it and the more viewers they reach, the more the algorithm will start to push it where it needs to go. Those people can start to subscribe, and hopefully they will be there day one when the game releases, and then I can stream the game and hopefully have an audience while I'm doing it. So that's how I'm doing it.
Yeah, there you go. I think that would tie into your question after that, Queen, in terms of getting more viewership. But she responded to that saying, I thought of that because like you, I like playing games that have deep stories behind them. So yeah, they absolutely love it. I think that's a smart idea. Like you're saying, you're prepping them because it's like a search engine thing. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. That was valuable info. Thank you for letting me know. Like
you're not
something I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, whether you're streaming on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, or TikTok, whatever. You're not gonna grow just going live and playing the game every day. Like, don't try to do that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's better for you to have the mindset that I'm the rule, not the exception. It's so rare. Usually when somebody blows up doing something like that, it's because something crazy happened on a live stream. It's not just, you know, I'm going to grind this every day and grow. Make YouTube videos about that game as much as you can and put those YouTube videos out so that people will find you on YouTube and come to those streams to watch you play that game. You have to get yourself associated with that game before the game drops if you can. If for some reason you miss that window and the game comes out, play it and make YouTube videos out of you playing it, but don't do it as a let's play. Try to grab good clips for YouTube shorts and like Instagram reels, and you can even post it on Twitter, and hashtag it properly, SEO it properly so people can find it, and try to make short videos where maybe you show a little bit of your gameplay and you're talking about what you thought of the game. Do stuff like that, and just do that with every new game that comes out that you want to play. And it's better for you if those games have some relation to each other. So for instance, I wouldn't jump from Super Mario RPG to Modern Warfare 3. I feel like that's like a huge jump. But Star Ocean, the remake of Star Ocean, the second story, is dropping on November 2nd. That's a great RPG, JRPG from the same era. It's a fantastic game. So I'm going from Star Ocean to Super Mario RPG, both 90s cult classic JRPGs. So I'm in that same kind of niche. It's much better for you. That's why you see a lot of people that do horror, for instance, they stick to horror. They'll do Resident Evil, then they'll do Fatal Frame, Silent Hill. So if you can kind of stick into your niche and stick with that niche as much as you can and grow from there, and, you know, allow yourself to grow a little bit before you branch out to something drastically different. It's in your best interest as a creator to do it that way.
There you go. Very well said. Very well noted. Thank you. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because it gets you started in that algorithm. And look at that. I didn't even think of that. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to play Spider-Man when it comes out. But I didn't think maybe to talk about it before I do that and kind of like, in a way, advert the live stream. Because a lot of people do that. Now that you're saying it, I keep hearing it in my head. Like, yeah, this game's going to come out and day one, you know, I'm going to be streaming over on twitch.tv/blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
You know, so make sure if you want to see that, go there. If not, you know, videos every day, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually.
The best thing that you can do, like, because even my advice is based on this. I take the biggest creators that I'm the biggest fan of, right? And I say, oh, that's what I want to do. Yeah. Well, look at what they do. Like, look at exactly how they do it. And that's what I noticed. Like every really big creator that I wanted to be like, that I was watching, I noticed that's what they would do. They would react to every trailer. They would put out little think pieces and, talk about, like, if it's a remake, how it's going to be different from the original, or if it's a new game, what to expect compared to this game. And I realized what they were doing is they were building up the hype in their own community and also putting out all these YouTube videos to bring in people. And then day one, their chat would have twice its normal viewership, and everybody's like going insane, ready for them to start this game. And I just noticed them. They do it over and over and over again. So it's like, one thing is like, don't look at what I'm doing when I'm still trying to figure it out. That's why I don't make YouTube videos where I give advice to other streamers. And I don't make YouTube videos. I've been asked to do it before, and I've always said no. It's not that I don't think I have anything to offer, but you should be. There's so many larger creators that are already doing it right. Look at them, because I don't want to tell you wrong. I would feel horrible if I gave you advice that was bad and it hurt your career, but look, the blueprint is already laid out. You know what I mean? Look at large creators, look at what they do and why they do it and why it works. Why do they make YouTube videos and then stream on Twitch? Why is that? Why does it seem like everybody's doing that? They're making videos on Diablo on YouTube every day, and then they're streaming Diablo on Twitch. Why don't why, and then it works. Why does it work? Like, look at it from that angle, study it, take yourself to school, basically. But that's what I've learned. That's why it works.
All right. Very nice. Thank you, man. Thank you for your time. It was a good one. It was a long one, but it was a good one, and I'm looking forward to clipping you and posting you everywhere and pretending like I caught you early.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm twitch.tv/Rex Sterling, YouTube at Rex Sterling Live, and then Twitter is Rex Sterling Live as well. And
right. You got anything planned for after this, or?
I think after this, I'm probably going to take the longest piss of my life. And then after that, I might just head out to the bar and have a little drink and decompress a little bit. And then the next big stream I have coming up is Monday morning on my YouTube channel. I'll be doing that Spider-Man stream, Spider-Man 2, when the reviews go live for that. So I'll start working on the thumbnail for that a little bit, getting that ready, start hyping that up. And then just sit around and overthink my content until I get analysis paralysis and have a mini meltdown, and then and then maybe if I'm lucky, I'll start taking some of my own advice and you'll see me grow. That would be great.
All right, sounds good. Hey man, guys, check him out on his Twitch or YouTube. Like you said, you heard it here, folks. He's gonna be doing some good stuff. Rex, it was an honor. It was a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you more.
Yes.
And giving you a big thanks from the bottom of my heart for doing this. This was awesome.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, you killed it, man. Thank you, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, it means the world to me that you would even let me come on, man. Thank you for this.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got to have you back for sure, man. I'm sure there's going to be something that's going to happen in reference to what we talked about. I'm going to be like, I got to see what Rex thinks about this, man. So
100%.
Absolutely. All right, man. You enjoy your evening. Like I said, I appreciate it. Thank you for giving us so much of your time, and hello to everyone on Twitch. You guys have a good one, whatever you guys decide to do. And we'll talk soon, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to you and your chat and your community as well. Looking forward to doing it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care, brother.
All right, peace.
All right, bye-bye. Wow. This is good stuff, man. All right, let me see if I can maybe do a little adjustment here, and then I'll address you guys in chat, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So let me pull this right here. Boom. Boom. Oh man, what's up, guys? It's a long one, but a good one, huh? I kind of wanted to not have so much of his time, man, because I kind of feel bad. Like 3 hours, that's a lot of time, man. Almost 3 hours and 20 minutes. What a banger. I hope you guys liked it, though. That's what's important. Let's see. This is fire. I appreciate that, John. W Podcast. I've subscribed. Thank you, Demented. W Mod to you too as well. US. I was thinking of doing a reaction video for every game. There you go. That's one thing I would do too. Yeah, like, so that's what he was talking about. CCG Carbon Gaming Group. I've done content with them all the way. That's why I do. Oh, okay. I think I have heard of that. I don't know if he has it. I kind of wanted to let him do those two and kind of wrap it up. It's been a while. You know? Yep. What I do if people playing the games I haven't played, I'll leave because I want to play it. Ah, yeah. That happens to me too sometimes. Sometimes I'll see a new game and I'm like, I want to play it. I'm just gonna leave. They'll sell it to me, you know? Well said, Tips. Nice. Yeah, asked them a question. Yeah, we had to move on. I'm sorry. Next time. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys subscribed to Rex. He's great. He's very professional. I think you guys are gonna enjoy him. Thank you very much, Gamer Nurse. Yeah, like we've been doing this now for 26 episodes, so look forward to more. I'm gonna have some returning guests, some new ones, so should be good. Appreciate it. Appreciate you subbing to Rex. Yeah, it was great. It was great. Feel bad because I'm trans. I've been trolled a lot and blocked, and I don't think it's fair. Well, yo, what's up, Ark? What's up? What's up? Let me respond to this real quick. I mean, let me ask you this. What? They weren't supporting you anyway, so I wouldn't really be too hung up on people trolling you because of that. You see what I'm saying? I would probably focus more on the people that are already supporting you and give them that attention. That's something I had to kind of teach myself. You know? Like, sometimes I give a little bit too much attention to the people that weren't even supporting me anyway. That were just going to be negative anyway. So I probably wouldn't get too hung up on it. You know what I mean? Doing a live podcast, Arg. What's up, man? Because I'm working full time, I can only play during my vacant times. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, a lot of us are. A lot of us are. A lot of people on YouTube used to be. YouTube used to be a lot of people. Just they had part-time jobs. They worked regular jobs, and then they did this for fun. You know. So now that this is like an actual job, I feel like the standard is just so high that it's like almost unrealistic. You know. Appreciate that, Stephanie. Thank you, Killa. Listening to the whole time. Yo, thank you, Killa. I hope we can help you, whatever you were doing in the background, or if you were just lurking, hanging out, listening. Thank you so much, man. Always a pleasure to see you, dude. Appreciate you. I'm glad we got to talk about you a little bit. I didn't mean to ruin your important serious talk, but if you want to 1v1 Fall Guys boxing me real quick, let me know. It'll take like 20 minutes. I literally am about to end, and I'm about to go eat and chill with my wife, but can we do this another day? Because I'll be down 100%. Let me know. I know it's hard to control it. Yeah. It's something you gotta like. You almost gotta practice. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get like in the mindset and then like practice it. Like try to just either ignore it or block them, and then just focus on people who are like there, who actually support you. It's almost like it's like an acquired skill almost. Welcome back from making dinner. Yeah, welcome back. Arg, yeah, he's I don't know. I think he's strong. We'll see. I wish we can go back to 1998 when we had no problem. We had no social media now. Yeah. I mean, we can get to that. I think we can have both. I think we can have social media and learn how to like watch our freaking mouths, right? I would like that at least. All right. Sounds like a plan. Just Arg. I will do the same thing. I'll talk to my assistant and I'll let your assistant know what time we can meet. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, Gamer Nurse. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing Fortnite anytime soon stuff, I'm gonna be honest. But if we do, maybe we can run some 1v1s. No problem, Queen. No problem, Gamer. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Arg. You don't gotta lie, but hey, I'll take that compliment. You too, man. Hopefully your new haircut's doing you good. Dementa's laughing. Alright, sounds good stuff. Alright, guys, well, I am going to let you guys go. It was a W stream. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me and talking. I will see you all on Wednesday. Tuesday, I got a new video coming out with Falcon Tactics. It's when we did the collab. That's going to be coming out Tuesday night. Let's see. What else do I have for you guys? Maybe another sit down. We'll see if we can get the guest that I want. And that'll be done on Thursday, either pre-recorded or live. I'm not sure. But Friday, hopefully everything aligns and we can stream Spider-Man the day it comes out. I'm almost thinking about doing it on midnight. I might get crazy. I don't know. I'm an old man. I don't know if I can stay up that late. But I took a day off just in case. So we'll see. Anyway, guys, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your Saturday. If you're listening to this, it's probably Sunday. Appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, make sure you let me know, whether it be in the Spotify comments, Amazon, Google Podcasts, wherever else this is. Let me know that you're listening on there, right? Guys, have a good night. Take care. Be safe. We'll talk about everything hopefully Wednesday. And I'm going to go see how this fight went because I didn't get to see it. Eat, chill, hang out with Lady Yugi. Guys, have a good night. We love you. Appreciate you, everyone who stopped by. Thank you for checking out Rex. He's a great guy. I think you guys are going to enjoy him. So take care. Be safe. Much love. Goodbye.